Hello and welcome everybody to Minor Realm Games Twitch. It is so good to see everybody again. We've had a little bit of time off. We've had a couple of JP, you're a legend, Smokey One Kenobi says.
Thanks, Smokey One.
We've had a couple of shows move times here and there, but I promise all the chaos is now behind us. We are back to a regular schedule, and we have just 2 sessions left of Minor Realm Games' original module, Clock Strike 0. Tonight, of course, and then our final episode airing on the 26th from 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. With me, I have my friends, my company compatriots, and our wonderful cast of characters. I will allow them to introduce themselves before we head off into some housekeeping. JP?
I am JP. I play Cal Greenglass, a halfling thief who spent half of the last episode walking upstairs.
Indeed he did. Maybe we'll revisit the stairs this evening. We'll see. Matt?
Yeah, Matt Sisk. I'm playing Lundy Bellcamp. He's a ranger, well regarded far and wide throughout the land for his marksmanship.
That's my favorite part of your introduction at this point. For those of you who have watched Clock Strike 0, you understand the irony and sarcasm in that statement. Dave?
I'm Dave. I'm playing Ragnar Wartooth, the dwarf fighter. I beat step up.
And then last but certainly not least, Mike.
Yeah, I'm Mike, aka Tenebrity, aka Varys as Saphira. And yeah, I'm basically still patching up wounds from Lundy's marksmanship.
Right on. And I am Bill. I will be your dungeon master this evening and through the rest of this campaign. Thank you so much for those of you coming back to join us again for another installment. And for those of you that are here for the first time, if you don't follow us, make sure you click that follow button if you like tonight's session. If you don't, feel free to leave your feedback. That's fine too. We really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us to watch us game. A couple of announcements. We've raised nearly $3,000 over the last 6 weeks on our charity campaign run. We couldn't have done it without all of your help, so look out for more future opportunities to participate. Yes, absolutely. A round of applause for all of you. Look out for future opportunities to participate, and more of those coming up in the coming weeks and months as we continue to go live on here playing all your favorite tabletop role-playing games. But hats off to you all. Thank you so much for the wonderful partnership and being able to achieve that. I wanted to say hello and shout out to some of our Patreon subscribers this evening. So Matt, if you're out there, John, Alexander, of course, our good friend Danny, new Patreon subscribers at the Wizard tier, thank you so much. Look out for some emails coming up later this week with announcements on your first batch of swag that we'll be sending out to you guys. If you are interested in following us on Patreon and becoming a patron of MRG, you can click the link down below this this stream at any time during tonight's broadcast. And last but not least, this game that we're playing, Clock Strike 0, is Osric and will be 5e compatible for the world's greatest role-playing game. Look out for our Kickstarter to launch in just a couple of weeks here in August. More announcements coming soon. So everybody, I hope you're settled in. Make sure you grab yourself a refreshment and strap in for another episode of Clock Strike 0. I'm ready. I hope you all are as well. So, through the swirls of lightning and arcanic energy, the gusts of wind and the supernatural materialization of giant wasps, the town swiftly fell under attack from an unknown entity as the long-condemned monument of Blackworm, its historic clock tower, rang defiantly again, with the toll of each bell signaling chaos in the peaceful streets. Amidst all the while, a harvest festival to celebrate the fruitful autumn and harmony of communion of its townfolk and the foreign vendors traveling inward alike. Just a few weeks ago, our adventurers stumbled into town on their way northward to petition the High King's Court for a role as a commissioned official guild. They expected nothing more than some spirits and ciders on their little stop in here in Blackworm, the setting of Clock Strike 0. Perhaps a few nights rest, if they were lucky. Maybe a modest acquisition of new equipment. But in turn, they found so much more in this quiet little unassuming settlement in the west of Ziaris along Roland Pass. Our party has saved a town's child, destroyed a haunted church for good, aligned themselves with an old gnome who has now identified himself as a once sorcerer king of a sacred land known as the Northern Nexus. They fought off the likes of assassins down in the sewers, at odds with a party of mighty, worthy, yet nefarious assassins known as the Silhouette, and now they've come to face one of the more dark and mysterious challenges in the town yet. The mythos of the clock tower itself has seemed to have come to life, and with it has spawned creature and monster that could stand to devastate everything in its wake. When we left off, Cal was still inside the clock tower. Cal was knocked around a little bit in a magical storm that brewed within the interior architecture, the floorboards and balustrades rocking with a fierce tension. Cal, you bravely climbed and climbed until you could run no further. After taking some bruises and cuts then from a decent fall, you now wake, shaking off the cobwebs and rubbles from your person. You come to your senses. You spot and identify your pack just 18 feet away from you, in a now dark and foggy clock tower interior. The front doors begin to sort of sound almost with another vibration. And they don't so much as open as they begin to illuminate with a vibrant, bewildering, magical aura over top of the door frame, and now across where the doors once were. A voice calls out through the chambers and up through the levels of the clock tower, through the bell haven, the balustrades, and across the stone and the wood with a succinct, "Get out of my house!" And it echoes for just a moment. In the streets of Blackworm, on Harvest Way, just east of Penard's Inn, townspeople begin to tend to the wounded, restore disheveled bits of some of the overturned pop-up stands. A strange sound can be heard throughout the town for the rest of the party, the sound of uncertainty. As much as you outside, those of you outside believe some of the townsfolk are trying to kind of carry on, it seems as if they cannot. A handful of vendors and traders run over to your group, in fact, and even start helping you all along the way, with Gorgel lending aid as well. Two of you are actually still poisoned, Varys and Ragnar, not feeling so great, or just overcoming that sensation of poison at the very least. You are thanked as then dozens begin to cheer for your efforts. You helped save Blackworm from an attack from opposition cannot at this time be identified. But Gorgel fears that this battle has only just begun. He feels that this situation is more dangerous than he could have ever anticipated. After a few moments, as the party reunites, the townspeople begin to gather around you a bit, almost shielding you and protecting you, as they themselves restore the street and the pop-up tents. You see Cal foisted kind of from the doors of the clock tower through some type of bright jubilee. This material gate or portal forms, and he comes flinging out, tumbling and somersaulting back up to an upright position with his pack on his back, dusting himself off. You guys are reunited on the street.
Welcome back, Cal.
Thanks.
Where exactly did you go?
Well, it seemed that the top of the tower was the source of our problems, so I thought I'd go up there and see what I could do. I wasn't having much luck hitting those wasps with my slingshot. So I ran up to the top as far as I could, but there was just this destructive magic flying around. It wasn't possible for me to make it all the way to the top. And now apparently whoever's there is upset because he very forcibly ejected me.
There's somebody up there?
Yes.
Is
Somebody
Gorgel
or
around us?
something that is sentient.
Is Gorgel around us?
Yeah, Gorgel is still with you in the group here.
Did he react at all when he said that somebody was up there?
He's kind of listening and hanging on Cal's words, and he says, "We should get back to my home to discuss this matter in private." Yeah, he's suggesting
Sounds good to me.
This might not be for the ears of the townsfolk around here. Yeah.
Don't need to scare him any more than they already are.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a bit of a chaotic kind of day here. So, with that suggestion, he recommends making haste to his home in order to appropriately discuss this matter as well as heal up.
Yeah, we're still poisoned.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're still in bad shape. Yeah, so yeah, he needs to get you guys in care where he can have his full arsenal of material components and supplies at hand. So you make haste to Gorgel's. You enter the modest little shack with a few bits of old antique furniture and the dust and the mold and little trinkets and artifacts placed about, and you take seats on the floor and in the armchairs, and as the old gnome begins to root through his cabinets to begin preparing ointments and amalgams for you, it's hard to believe that this dwelling, this little place, belongs to a king. Gorgel goes on to kind of say, as he's pulling out vials and little containers and jars, that he fears for the worst. He says, the spirits or beings or elements, rather, that have claimed the clock tower are more powerful than I'd ever anticipated. Cal, can you elaborate on what happened in there?
So, there was some sort of arcane energy at the top of the tower. And ultimately there was this overwhelming destructive wind circling around to the top, destroying the stairs as I ran up them. But beyond that, there wasn't a lot in the tower itself. The rooms they seemed to be full of junk to some extent, but there was nothing noteworthy that I noticed on my way up the stairs. It's just, as the higher I got, the stronger I was being resisted.
This arcane energy, was there any sort of color or anything associated with it? Or was it, could you see it?
It did have a color. I think it might have been blue. I'm not sure. It's all kind of foggy now after my fall down the stairs. Gorgel, were you able to recognize the sort of magic that was on display?
This is dark, evil magic. This is something that has been banned in this land for quite some time. Hey, we got a subscription. Thank you, Smokey.
Oh,
Appreciate that. Hey, yeah.
thank you.
Like seeing all the little confetti and everything bouncing around. That's always a fun little sight. That's awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Gorgel says that it's some type of dark magic. He's not comfortable with it. It's been banned in this land for a long time. In fact, that's part of the reason that those Silhouette guild members masqueraded as Kingsguard. It's well known here for this type of magic to not be used. No magic for harm. It's at all costs a last resort to use any magic in harming or maiming another. And this type of magic that could manifest these creatures. It seemed to him powerful. He goes on and just says, whoever is inhabiting that clock tower, they've been studying a while. To be able to bring creatures to light, wasps to sting and poison from thin air, to be able to create gates within the material plane. That is powerful. Thank you, Feisty. Appreciate that subscription. Look at all the emotes.
Damn.
Look at that. We got an emote. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, Gorgel just knows that this is something that he's seen it, he's aware of it, but it hasn't existed in this place in a long time, at least as long as he's been here, and that it is of a powerful level that makes him uncomfortable, a veteran sorcerer king, or at least a retired one.
Could
Gorgel.
this have the makings of Zelaton, possibly?
Salaton is not a mage.
No.
He is a craftsman. He is a swordsman, but a mage he is not.
Now, Gorgel, this has been going on for some time, hasn't it? The nature of the clock tower. Was there any disappearances that happened around that time period? Any new people who came to town? I'm just trying to get a sense of what motivations there would be for somebody to do something like this.
And he says, there have been disappearances, and certainly, to your point, strange occurrences in here. This town, every autumn, has had something more surprising happen than the last. Today, however, was the most violent and of scale. In this magnitude, if it were to get worse, innocent people could die.
If they haven't already.
Yeah. He says, I think of the boy, Shaunist, but I could not believe that this would be something he would do.
Yeah, what did you know about Shaunus, the Davister boy, before he disappeared? What sort of kid was he?
He was a sweet boy, charming, bright. He would have done great things.
Wasn't one of those that was pulling the wings off of flies?
Oh no. He wanted to study magic. His father and family would not have it. So I agreed to train him in secrecy. I worked with him almost every day for 2 years. But he wanted to begin to study the dark arts. And I would not take him there. I took his tomes from him, and I told him no more. Hey, Punchline73, thank you so much for the follow. And Feisty, have a happy anniversary, 6-year anniversary. Thank you for tuning in. Go celebrate. Obviously, there are more important things to tend to for some of you. Thanks. You can catch this episode tomorrow on the VOD, so no problem at all. And look at this hype train rolling over here in the chat. You guys are crazy tonight. Thank you so much for joining the penultimate episode of Clock Strike Zero.
Yeah, and Smokey, thanks so much for all the bits. I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, thanks for the bits. Thanks for the gift sub as well.
Yeah, this is rad. Thank you so much, guys. So yeah, you gather here at least briefly that Gorgel worked with Shaunus Davister, training him in sorcery before the boy disappeared, before he took off. But he would not. He refused to go any further with him whenever he expressed interest in learning some dark arts, which you know to be affiliated with demonics, with summoning, with necromancy, those types of things, and he would not work with the boy.
What motivated this boy to? Was he? I mean, just to get a sense of, this is him? Can he be reasoned with?
I have not seen the boy in years. It was presumed that he left, undertook a pseudonym, and joined the Arcane Academy in the south.
Gorgel. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thought you were done. I was going to ask Gorgel a question. Like, if when you were interacting with this boy, was there anyone else or anything else in town that he was particularly fond of? That if we decided to try and lure him, if that's him in the tower, if we decided to try and lure him out, that he might actually care about.
I suppose. Well, yes. The boy had a wonderful doll, a soldier. A toy that was in his room that he played with often, and evenings he spent alone after I was done caretaking. He left the doll behind when he vanished. I was, of course, quickly dismissed from service from the Davisters after the boy's disappearance, but I would have to assume that the parents kept that as a keepsake to remind them of their dear boy. You hear
How many years ago was it that he disappeared?
Almost 3. Almost
Okay,
3, yeah.
got it.
Yeah. You hear a knock at the door at Gorgel's place, and a sort of a meek voice calls from the other side of it. Hello, Mr. Gorgel and company. It's Ellie Smithton. Gorgel kind of looks over at you all and walks over to the door and opens it up, and it's Ellie on the other side, and she has a big basket of what looks like biscuits and bottles of cider that are corked. And she says, I just heard what happened in the north of town. I came as quickly as I could. I figured I could at least help with a meal and some refreshments while you boys rest up.
Thank you. Are your boys safe right now, or?
They're at home. Thank you for asking.
I look at the food and I start turning like slightly more green because I think I'm still poisoned. And so just the sight and the smell of the food just makes me like, you see the kind of backing away from the food. And I say, thank you, but.
In a conventional, unconventional sort of way, kind of funny, both Ragnar and Varys, as you've doffed your armor, you feel this pinprick on either side of your arms from this little gnome behind you, and it looks like he's put a syringe in both sides of your arms, kind of from the opposite ends of you. And he just kind of turns and takes a little step toward the door, takes the basket from the dear woman, invites her on in, closes the door, and asks you two to take a seat, and that you should be feeling better momentarily. Cal and Lundy, there's almost like this green drink, kind of this frothy, foamy looking stuff at the corner of the table. And Gorgel asks you two to take a good swig or two of that before you have any biscuits or cider. Everybody will regain 4 hit points, and the conditions of poison have been lifted from Varys and Ragnar.
Thank you, GM.
So Ellie sits down for a moment. She even pours herself a glass of cider. You can tell that this is a lot of commotion, that this town is in a bit of a state of emergency and distress here. And Gorgel kind of almost looks at you all to suggest not talking so... to just be a little more discreet and subtle, and to leave out some of the details that you were just speaking of. She says that she's already sort of a little concerned, and he kind of looks over like, I look after Ellie, and just gives you a wink and a nod kind of thing. So this chat's blowing up tonight. Wow, this is awesome. You guys rule. Thank you so much. So Ellie kind of stands up and she paces, and she actually calls out to Gorgel. Do you think that it could be? She says, Ellie, I don't want to get into wild suspicions. She says, that boy was never right, though, and you know that, Mr. Gorgel. You get the feeling that she's talking about Shaunist.
Go ahead, Cal.
Gorgel, did you hear the voice that spoke in the tower?
He raises
before I was ejected from it.
He raises an eyebrow and kind of cocks his head in your direction.
Somebody said, "Get out of my house," before I was ejected from the building. I'm guessing you didn't hear it.
No.
What did that voice sound like, Cal?
What did the voice sound like?
It was
Was it like magically amplified?
It was certainly, yeah, it was almost like thaumaturgic effect. It didn't have this deep, boisterous sort of bellow to it. It sounded sort of a medium tone, kind of a modest pitch, sounded male. It was fairly nondescript, but yeah, it was really loud and echoey in that chamber. It reverberated several times against the walls and the floors.
It was a male voice, but there's nothing else that stands out about it.
Oh dear. The more I think, it could be. It could be. Mr. Gorgel asks very kindly that Ellie head home and be with her boys, that he needs to prepare with you all for next steps in case something else should arise here in the town. Ellie bids you all adieu, gives Ragnar a hug, pats Lundy on the shoulder, and wishes you all the best of luck, and thanks you again for all the work you've done in Blackworm and for, of course, saving her child, Lawrence. Bye, Ellie.
Yeah, I basically do a bow.
Thanks.
I'm starting to feel a little bit better.
Thanks
Kinda
for the
snack
food.
One of the muffins as well.
Yeah, thanks for the biscuits. Hey, thanks for the compliment. I don't know. I feel like some nights my voices are there and some nights my voices are not. So this might be a not night. I'm not sure. So thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. So you, it's at this point you notice whenever he escorts Ellie out that he has his cane at side, like typical. We know that cane, of course, now to be his scepter. It's an artifact from the sorcery kingdoms of the Northern Nexus. It's basically his wand, his arcane foci. As he moves it aside, he almost trembles a little bit, and you see that he's been concealing a pretty nasty stinger wound on his side, actually, on himself. The blood is actually soaked through his garments, and he's trembling a little bit. You can tell that even his skin tonality has gotten a little more pale and translucent in nature, already quite powdery white. You can see some of his veins actually emerging. You can see some of that varicose sort of pattern on his hands. What do you guys do?
He's poisoned, yeah?
It seems like he's pretty sick, that he's pretty ill, yeah. He's just been doing a really good job of hiding it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to, can I do like any type of, I'm not sure. I want to see if it's, is it the wound like magical in nature or is it physical? Is it from the wasp basically that he's just, is it lethal?
You want to go over and inspect him?
Yeah, that's what it exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You do you want to call that out, or you kind of just want to get closer to look at it? Do you just want to say, "Hey, Mr. Gorgel," or do you want to be a little bit more secretive about it?
I think that with him specifically, the direct approach is probably best, and so
Okay.
I'll say to him, Gorgel, how long have you been hiding that for? Let me take a look at that.
He kind of holds his side, and you can see that when he dabs it, there's blood that actually just presses to his palm. And he trembles a little bit, shaking with his cane. And he says, "One of those wasps got me pretty good, son."
Sit down. And do you happen to have any more of those, I don't know, syringes of...
He shakes his head, and he says, "You boys deserved it first. You're young. You're strong."
Well,
More reason for you to have it.
Yeah, do you mean this is not good. This is not good at all. Is he poisoned? And so I basically kind of take a look at the wound itself,
Yeah.
and I want to see if number one, if it is a poison. And
He's poisoned, and it's a pretty nasty, deep wound. Part of the stinger's actually in there, a couple inches still in his side.
do I have any medical knowledge to know what would happen if I remove the stinger?
You can't imagine that it would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it's one of those things where you have to bleed it.
Yeah. At this point, it looks like part of the stinger broke off, probably when he was fighting back and swatting the thing off with his cane. So yeah.
I'm definitely gonna cast slow poison on him.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say that before I'm gonna say you can teach us, I'm sure, how to create your poultices and reagents to cure this, but we need to make sure that this doesn't get to your heart. And I sort of lay my hands on him and cast, and I sort of like yield down my head to pray, and I pray to a deity and say, deity with your wisdom, ensure his safety, and try to slow the poison.
It's perfect. You can tell that you give him a bit of life and energy back. You kind of continue to stay with him on the side of the chair, kind of that he's sitting in. He closes his eyes. Cool sweat is beating around his eyebrows and pouring down the side of his face into his long, white, fluffy beard. And he takes a sort of a long exhale, he says, I need rest.
Before you rest, you must tell us how to cure this poison. I'm afraid this is not a cure. What I am doing, it only is there to prevent it from hitting your heart. How? And I kind of look over to Cal and I say, Cal, you're somewhat of a know-it-all. Based on from my observations of you, do you think that perhaps you could put this together if he were to teach you?
I could give it a shot.
I think
I've certainly read a little bit about
Yeah.
alchemy and reagents and that sort of thing. So
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
if there's a recipe I'd be happy to go out and get the ingredients.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a quick intelligence check? I'm sure this will be no problem at all.
That's a success.
Yeah, and he points to Ragnar and Lundy. He points over to the cabinet, and he says that in the third page of the yellow book, just tear that page out. And he hands that to you, Cal, and he says, I have a few of these ingredients in my home. The others you will need to go to Volda for. In that moment, you do sort of sense a bit of an unsettling sort of disturbance. This is about an hour's time, hour and a half or so has passed. You hear a few brash bangs at the front door, and then again just a second or two later at the side, on the siding of the small home. And it kind of alerts you. That one really alerts all of you at once. And then you hear what sounds like 2 footsteps on the roof of the domicile. And then you hear the sound of horses outside and a voice calling, "Come out, King Arlen, and face us, or we'll burn your house to the ground."
We have our armor doffed right now, right?
You have it doffed, yes.
I'm not going to be able to get it on in time, right?
You can start right now.
I'm going to start right now.
Yes, you start donning your armor. Lundy, you still have your armor on. Cal, obviously you're dressed, you're equipped there.
I'm going to start doffing mine as well. Or
I,
start donning, I should say.
Donning.
Donning, yes.
I'm actually I'm going to go to the front door and I'll crack it open a little and lean on the side of the door. I'm going to pretend that I have cigarettes and light one and smoke it and just look at whoever's out front and say, "No kings live here."
Yeah, so for those of you watching Twitch, you can see a bit of a scale of the house and the interior there. When you crack the door open, you see that there are 2 men with studded leather and cape and scarlet sort of covering over their face with golden S on them on the top of tall white horses. They stand sort of central. 2 men standing to their sides with swords drawn on the left and right, respectively, as you kind of just look around with your Spidey Ranger senses. And when you say that, you hear a voice call from a man that has clearly these kind of tall studs coming out of his shoulders and a helmet on. And he says, "You're fooling no one. The longer you guard the man, the more this gets difficult for you."
Is there like a cellar or anything that looks like it might be a surreptitious way to escape?
There is a little trap door over in the corner where the kitchen table is, and you could tell that it probably just goes down like to a sub area. You could crawl out below like the foundation of the house, like almost like a cabin.
I'll say to the 2 in armor, I don't suppose you lot had anything to do with what was going on at the tower earlier.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Apparently so, because you think a king lives here too.
We know he's in there. Turn
Who's
him
he?
over. You're harboring an old gnome who deserves to die.
Oh, well.
So
I know no gnomes.
I'm while this conversation is
That's a
happening, I'm
tongue
actually
twister.
trying to drag Gorgel towards that trapdoor.
Okay. Yep. You with Ragnar.
I'm gonna assist as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ragnar and Varys. You were almost done dawning. Cal is gonna struggle a little bit with him, but if you guys go and help, that's fine. But it'll delay you a moment or two on getting your armor the rest of the way back on.
I mean, I'm gonna assist, even
Okay.
if I
Okay.
don't have. I'll probably just sort of strap my shield on at the very least with the time I have.
Bingo. Okay. No
but yeah.
problem. Yep. You go over and you help Cal. That you guys drag Gorgel over to the little hidey hole, little trap door, and you prop it open, and you just kind of very gently set him down a couple feet down there onto the dirt, and you shut it.
So, I'll keep talking, engaging with him, and I'll take the page we ripped out with the ingredients on it, and I'll start looking through it, and I say, I was about to go shopping. I don't suppose one of you would go for me. I'll pay you handsomely.
One of the man on the horseback that has black cape and sort of scarlet veil over his face does not have the studs or the helmet. He takes out something from his cloak, and it just goes and it kind of ignites with some smoke on the end of it, and it has like this kind of purplish kind of sparkle, this blue kind of crackling light, almost like a firework by it. And then the man with the helmet on, with the face completely covered, says, "We will burn this house to the ground."
It's not very neighborly.
Am I fully donned?
You are donned.
What about me? Am I donned yet?
You are
by this
donned.
point in time? Okay.
I'm gonna go join Lundy and just look very menacing behind him
You guys,
in all of my 3.5 feet of stature.
you prop the door open a little further. All right, and then you see a Ragnar standing back there. Retribution. Do you have it up and like over the shoulder? Or both
Over
ends?
my shoulder, yeah.
Over the shoulder, just like let's do this shit.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, is the trapdoor closed?
The trapdoor is closed.
Is it obvious where it is? Is there like a rug I could put over on top of it, or?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can drag the little tapestry or little, he's like a dirty old little rug for the door. You can drag it over there and just place it right on top. Make it a little less obvious to see.
What can I see? So I went down with Gorgel. I'm under the house
Yep.
with him. How much can I see? Like, can I see the silhouettes of their legs?
Yes, yeah, you can see the horses up front. You can see the silhouettes of two other sort of sets of legs up front. As you kind of look around to the rear of the house, you see two more sets of legs back there as well.
Okay. Are there any like bushes or anything on either side of the
There
house?
really aren't. Yeah, these houses are almost kind of plotted down and like kind of precariously and randomly in these weird little places in the residence square. These small little hut domiciles are, yeah, they don't have much decor or lawn landscaping around them. So there wouldn't be much cover. You could probably sneak out of like one of the sides, like sort of the south west or northeast kind of sides of the house. That'd be your best bet for the element of surprise, as it seems like they're monitoring the back of the house for some reason. There's no rear exit, but there's two guys sort of on the rear of the house, probably looking to see if anybody's trying to escape that way. And then the main party opposing you is at the front.
Okay. And which side of the house is closer to like another building or something else that I could?
The southwest, actually the side that you're on, you're closest to.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to quietly make my way there with Gorgel.
Okay. All right, cool. Give me a sneak for that.
That is. That's a success.
Oh, awesome. Fantastic. You are working on that, and we'll say that that's going to go ahead and take you into this round or so. Let's go ahead and roll for initiative outside of that, guys.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wanted to see if I could parlay with them now that I'm donned and everything like that, and they're. But have they been seen then? Or no?
Have these two, Cal and Gorgel? No,
Yeah.
they have not been seen yet. We're going to go ahead and roll for initiative to get
Gotcha.
going, though, because it does.
Yep.
It looks like these guys are going
They're not taking no for an
probably
answer.
burn this house down. Yeah, but regardless, you can do something on your turn.
Yep.
I'll give you free actions, no problem.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right. So who's got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? All right, Ragnar, what do you want to do?
Do I notice Varys kind of like coming up to try to rejoin?
You do. You do.
I'm gonna hold off because I know my my course of actions normally the last.
The more straightforward.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hold my action.
Okay. You're going to hold the action. All right. And 5 and 6? 7.
6.
Oh,
Six.
I'm a 6.
Okay. We'll go with you, Lundy. What do you want to do?
I'm not going to attack. I'm going to look at this guy with whatever you described, the hissing, smoking thing.
Mm-hmm.
That he. I'll flick my cigarette in the direction of that guy and say, "So, I guess I'm going to have to do my own shopping."
Last chance.
I just shut the door and lock it.
All right. Fair enough. So Ragnar and Varys, you see Lundy just shut the door and lock it. Cal, you get away actually across the bit of lawn that separates Gorgel's little hut and the one next door. Do you want to just crawl under that one with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm gonna try to peer out the window if I can. I'm not gonna do a combat action, but I'm gonna make sure they're not barring that door and then burning it down.
Yeah. So you see the two men on horses in a quiet conversation. You only hear a muffled, subtle version of that from inside of the house. Now, as you peer out there's a very little small circular window, only one of them, just to let a little sunlight through, and it's very dusty. You kind of wipe it a little bit, and you see them kind of nodding back and forth. The two men.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the two men that are opposite of the horses on either side, they tend to sort of look like they're approaching the house. They leave sort of where you can see from the window, and the guy on the horse does chuck it. I'm on 8. And he takes it and just throws it on top of the roof, and you hear something land up there.
Okay, never mind. I'm 8, so.
Okay, go ahead on it. Go ahead, Varys.
So they already like threw something on top of the roof. Then I can't do anything.
They did, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna unlock the door, open it up, and I'm gonna shout out to leader. Okay, fine. The deception is over. We are also looking for the gnome. We were looking here for a very specific purpose, but I understand you are here. You want him. Perhaps we might be able to work together on finding this man. What is your interest within him, and how is he a king anyhow?
The little kind of metallic little circular thing rolls down on the roof, actually past you, and lands on the kind of by the front of the house, and it's smoking. There's a lot of smoke and like kind of fireworky little particles of kind of silver.
Can I kick it away?
Yeah, you can just kick it. You got to kick it off, and it just falls into the grass over on the other side and just starts.
I say amateurs
burning the grass.
I mean, you can't get any evidence if you burn the place down.
Not a great showing for them on their first attempt there.
Where's your ordinances?
Yeah, exactly. They say we will kill that gnome when we find him.
Why? I mean, so you say he's a king. I mean, we just want information from him. Why do you want to kill him?
He is a criminal.
He's a criminal, you say?
Yes.
And what law do you follow? Do you have a warrant of some kind? I mean, what agents do you have here?
Yes, we have a warrant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Can I see the warrant?
No.
Okay then. Well, I can say that he's not here. We've searched this place thoroughly, and he is definitely not here.
Kind of the man in the helmet looks over to the other, and he says, "When we find him, we will kill him, and we will bring his body to you."
I heard that he might be in the clock tower. That's where we're gonna go search next.
The clock tower, you say?
Yes.
And what was your name?
My name is Varys.
Okay.
Varys of Saffron.
They look toward each other again, the two men on the white horses, and they mouth something, and then you see sort of a signal, kind of with their hands down by the cloaks.
Do I recognize the signal at all?
You don't.
And I say I am a priest of the goddess Deity, goddess of fertility.
Oh, a man of the cloth.
I am indeed, and I hold off my my amulet aloft, and I say a quick prayer to see if it can glow, just maybe a little bit.
It does. It sort of has this kind of cool kind of foggy, kind of green light that comes off. It emanates it from it for a second as you recite a prayer softly. And who else is in that house with you, aside from the? He kind of looks over and kind of nods behind the door and referring to Lundy.
I say, gentlemen, I kind of beckon them out.
I
we
will
can-
have, I will have at this point kind of scanned inside and probably have ascertained that Cal and Gorgel are not in there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that and I say, I'm Sigourn, and I look to Lundy and I give him one of these.
Yeah.
And you?
Yeah, I'll pop out again and not really pay much attention to them, but I'll start making noise about needing to go shopping again.
Mind him, he is a simple man. He's here. He's our brute of the group. He's not here to. I kind of like give him a little elbow in the ribs really quick, just very gently.
Ferris, these guys aren't nice. They're assholes.
Be that as it may, they also outnumber us,
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
and they say that they have a warrant.
I don't know why they're looking for a gnome. We haven't seen one all day.
Ragnar chuckles under his breath when he said they outnumber us.
Like I said, the last place we saw him, last information we got points to the clock tower. I suggest you go there.
Yeah. I won't be taking suggestions from you.
That's fair.
I'm sure you know who we are by now.
Actually, I don't. Do they have like the S on their clothing or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I noticed that now.
You notice because he goes like that up to his lapel by his cape, and just kind of taps, almost making a suggestion like, I know I'm giving you a little bit of bullshit, and you're giving me a little bit of bullshit. Like, don't tempt them. This is kind of what he's tapping his lapel. Don't tempt me.
So can I, under the next house over, can I hear that there's a conversation going on?
Yeah.
Yes, Cal, you can hear everything.
Okay, so I'm going to leave Gorgel there, and I'm going to try to come out from under the house where they can't see me.
Okay.
And then approach the situation.
Okay. Yeah, so you leave Gorgel there. Gorgel is breathing very shallowly. He is very, very pale and cold. But you know that if you bring him out into plain sight, he's as good as dead anyway. So you crawl out, you creep up alongside Gorgel's house, sort of on the southwestern side, and you get just far enough to the edge of the front of the house to conceal yourself, but get closer to the action in the scene.
Okay, I actually want to step out.
You want to step out? Okay.
Yeah, identify myself. Yeah.
You step on out, and immediately the man to the extreme left of the horseman wearing the big silver helmet has his blade pointed, and he just takes 2 paces towards you and points it out at your chest. Step no further.
What's going on here? I just stepped out for a moment.
He goes, we're looking for a gnome. Who are all of you? The man in the silver helmet says, that'll be quite enough.
So I, in an attempt to invoke the power of my ring of human suggestion or human influence, I suggest you search in the clock tower.
The man in the silver helmet looks and says, I've heard enough about this clock tower. Let's leave. We'll be back here at sundown. The horses turn, and the men walk behind them, and they gallop off.
I'm going to watch and make sure they go off like the full distance.
They go down the
before
alleyway,
anything.
back onto the main street, and then up to Harvest Way. They're out probably 200 yards.
Okay, then I go to Cal and I say, "Where is Gorgel? Where?"
He's under there.
I go under there.
It just points.
That's
Uh,
that house,
Underwear.
the next
Bill,
house over.
Bill, the name you said earlier when we were looking at the list of ingredients, I was assuming that was a merchant or of some
Yeah,
sort.
The place we went to.
Yeah, that place you
Okay.
went to last time. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if it seems like they've really left, then I'll check with them and say I'm gonna see if I can find what's missing here.
Okay. All right.
And for me, like I'm just gonna try to stabilize Gorgel as much as possible. Like
Okay.
Well, are you gonna crawl into the house?
I was gonna say, are you crawling into the house? Or are we bringing him back into his house? What are we doing with the body?
definitely bring him. I mean, I would want to bring him back inside.
Okay.
That's I would be making that attempt.
Okay.
Any.
Okay. Yeah, you guys fish him out, and when you feel like the coast is clear, it's safe, and you get him lying on his little cot-like bed, and you start sort of like ladling some cool water on his forehead, and put the blankets around him. You make him comfortable. He's fading, but you know if you can get this. What he describes either as can be done with a syringe or an ointment that can be applied directly to the wound. Either would be helpful. Lundy, you head off to Volda's vault. Ragnar, what are you doing? Are you going to stay behind just to protect the house, or are you going to go with Lundy?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep watch.
Okay. Lundy, you go off to Volda's vault. There's like 8 ingredients on this particular list. It's really quiet in Volda's vault at this point. You recognize that the business has slowed down significantly from earlier in the morning and the afternoon from when you were last there. You don't find Volda. You check around the counters in the office. A sort of a small half dwarf comes over to you, kind of a big bulbous nose and long hair down to his shoulders. Kind of looks a little dingy and grimy, long fingernails. And he looks up at you, and he has his spectacles and pulls them down onto his face and says, "Help you with something?"
Yes, you may. This list of ingredients, is it the sort of thing that a ranger would recognize in terms of herbal properties and that kind of thing?
3 or 4 of them, yes. The others are completely foreign to you.
Are there things? Is everything behind the counter, or is there stuff that I can see and reach on my own?
You see a lot of the herbal components are actually in almost like these jewelry-like display cases, like kind of glass and wooden. And you see a couple of the other magical components in these big wooden, almost like cigar cases, like a humidor behind the counter that go almost the length of the entire shop, probably around 40 or 50 feet or so.
I just tell the keeper, it's like, help, like, I'm in haste, help. And I throw him the list, and I just start grabbing all of the ones that I was able to recognize and see on the shelves. And if there's any that I did not, then I'm gonna expect him to know what it is.
Okay, yeah, no problem. He runs around, grabs you the ingredients that you can't access or just are not aware of. You're not exactly sure what you're looking for. He returns very quickly with a small box for you, and he puts like kind of a bag over it, like almost like a sack, and kind of wraps it up. And he says that it'll be 12 gold.
What was the shopkeeper's name again?
Volda.
It's like this is not what Valda would charge, but I'll be coming back, and Valda is going to know if he gets all 12 of this. And I slap it on the table and head back.
And he says, "I'll look out for you." So he gives you the supplies. You make haste back to Gorgel's house. Lundy, when you're on your way back, you as you are about to kind of hang that left into the residence square to beeline it back towards Gorgel's residence, you do overhear a bit more of a kind of a stir, a raucous, if you will, a commotion from the townspeople in the northern area where the clock tower and the gazing pond is. You see some lightning picking up and kicking up in the clouds again, and this kind of blue and green sort of hue kind of swirls over the top of the clock tower. You hear this loud sort of kind of rumbling noise on the grounds near Penard's Inn, and you hear townspeople sort of way off in the distance kind of yelling. What do? Do you beeline it back for Gorgel's, or do you go inspect the situation?
How far away is Gorgel's at this point?
Gorgel's is probably about 250 yards to your west, the town north, where the clock court is probably about 150 yards to your north.
I'll double time it to Gorgel's, knock on the door and put it, or I'll just drop it on the inside the door and then go back to observe whatever I can.
Okay, so yeah, you
I'm not gonna get right up next to the clock tower or anything. I'm just trying to find a vantage point.
okay, yep. So you see Lundy, you guys see Lundy come back to Gorgel's.
I do. I let them know. Like I think those pricks kicked the clock tower.
Yeah, something happened up there. So you drop off the list of ingredients. Cal, are you going to prepare this with Gorgel?
Yeah.
Okay. So you start preparing this. Are you guys going to go with Lundy and investigate? Okay.
I'm going to stay with Gorgel just to keep him stable.
Okay.
I turned to Ragnar and what did Lundy say? Where's he going?
We're going to check that out. Lundy might have better information. He was the one who saw it. I'm just gonna watch his back.
Yeah, please do. I'm gonna stay here with Gorgel, but I should be there momentarily once he's stable.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Okay. Lundy and Ragnar, you head out. You cut through the alleyways and then back up to toward Harvest Way. You get up to the northern part, northwestern of the clock court, and there's a few things going on. It looks like the town has been disturbed or disrupted by the horsemen, by the assassins. Several people lie on the ground harmed. Several of the pop-ups have been turned over. The tents have been completely shredded. Fruit stands and meat stands are down, overturned on their side. People have been stabbed and or slashed, it looks like, in some pretty rough interrogation. Also, there is a more disturbing, ominous phenomena occurring. The gazing pond, this typically pretty gorgeous and shimmering area, this little fishing lake where people just kind of huddle around, do little trail walks around, fish within, is beginning to bubble and steam. And the water is turning a strange kind of almost reddish, pinkish sort of color. The lightning and the clouds over top of the clock tower begin to gather in more closely, and you can see bits of lightning kind of striking some of the orchards and the fields of maple trees out in the distance, probably a half a mile northeast. So something is brewing out in the atmosphere here, perhaps a second wave from the clock tower, if you will, as well as what seems to have clearly been an assault, from a physical assault from what you could only assume to be the ruthless Assassin's Guild, the Silhouette, on their way out of here. What do you do?
Did I have any idea of how long it would take to prepare the poultice or whatever it was going to be?
Probably about 20 to 30 minutes. There's no instant pot here, so.
Ragnar, what do you think?
I
know you probably want to go charge again, but
Yeah, but without our full strength, probably not.
right.
Probably not a good idea. Let's be cautious and maybe go
I'm
look
just
at
gonna
that.
I'll keep watching, but
Yeah, you want to inspect that pool a little bit more, maybe?
yeah, sure. Let's see what's going on with the water.
You approach the gazing pond from a safe distance, probably 15 or so feet back from the ridge of the pond. You can see that the actual stone and foundation around it is beginning to crack. Some of the pieces of the stonework and the cobblestone begin to chip up, actually, and you see some tremors and vibration coming from the edge around the pool as mothers grab their children who were playing games and fishing, and others begin to head out and retreat back to the residence square on the opposite side, northward of it. The heat now coming off of it feels akin to like a sauna or something of that. It's probably several 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's almost near boiling consistently throughout the entire length of the pond. And the color itself begins to grow thicker, the color begins to go darker, and almost the substance begins to become thicker in appearance, almost like an ooze of some sort.
I'm going to take a stick,
Yep.
just a twig,
Yep.
and toss it in just to see what happens.
Immediately burns up, almost like the effect of like molten hot sort of magma or something. Just immediately just smokes and turns into dust.
Is the atmospheric disturbance ongoing the whole time?
It is, yes. It's not necessarily picked up at all. It's not any more violent or apparent, but it's consistently getting darker out there as the lightning is just flickering.
I can't. Can we see the clock tower? I can't remember from where we are.
You can, yeah, absolutely.
And it just seems to be centered around it. There's no other activity on the tower itself.
Not on the tower itself, on the structure, no.
Okay. I'll ready my bow just in case any hornets descend upon us.
Probably a good idea. It's a good idea.
I'm not willing to get closer without the rest of the party, but I also want to make sure there's enough time for them to take care of Gorgel. So
Yeah, sure, that's fair. Yeah. So what's the next plan of action then? With that being said,
if things are not rapidly escalating, if it's just staying disturbed like this and not growing in strength or diminishing,
things are rapidly escalating. A lake just turned into purple lava. So
well,
yeah, it's
I guess
very dangerous.
I mean, I don't know that I'm not. I guess I'm inclined to just head back to Gorgel's place until he's taken care of. So
Okay, all right.
but I mean, if there's nothing valuable I'm learning by watching the lake bubble, then
Nope. Just that this seems to be like another wave related to the tower itself. The same exact kind of appearance, and the storm is brewing in the sky. This time, instead of wasps materializing out of nowhere, the lake has turned to lava. So
yeah. So
Don't cross the streams.
don't cross the streams.
I tell Ragnar, let's head back and then get the whole party back here.
Probably a good idea.
Cal, you have applied the ointment that you prepared to Gorgel. He is completely stabilized. The condition of poison lifted. He regains a few hit points himself, and he's out of it. I mean, he's an old man. He's several hundred years old. While he's going to be okay, he's not in at risk of death here at this point. He's definitely wiped. But you get him into bed, and you've successfully healed him.
I tell Cal, if assuming that those guys are coming back, let's take him over to Ellie's and have him stay there for the night.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys head over to Ellie's with Mr. Gorgel. She gladly welcomes you inside. You explain the situation to her. I don't know how much you want to tell her, but
just say some
Ruffians.
some bad actors showed up, and
Yeah.
they seem to have an agenda that has nothing to do with the interests of this town, and they're after Gorgel for some part of it, something he did back in the past. But
yeah.
I like him better than I do those guys. So if you could keep an eye on him, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, she of course agrees and obliges your request. She prepares an extra bed for him in the living room near the fire, and she tucks him on in, and he goes off to sleep.
All right.
What's next,
We're off
guys?
to see the wizard.
Yeah, I tell Cal and Varys, yeah, you know that looking pool or pond out in town? It's pretty much lava right now.
What
Not-
about the clock tower?
Not sure what's going on. What about the clock tower?
Yeah,
Clock tower appears to be the focal point.
Yeah.
No big surprise, but
Looks like a
it's still
storm's
there.
brewing.
did those ruffians, those those assassin guild members, they go to the clock tower. It'd be really nice if
Something-
they just kind of like got one of them off our plate.
Something agitated the clock tower. I don't think it's a coincidence that they were headed that direction right before this started. So,
Was there any sign of him?
not that I could see. I didn't approach closely.
Do you
Looked
think
like
there would
they
be
might
any
have
value in going?
roughed some stuff up, but we didn't see him.
Do you think be any value of going back to the pond? I mean, I'm just not sure what we would be able to do there. Do
I
you
think
have
we
anything
should
that
have-
can cure lava?
I mean, let me
I cast
check. I
slow
checked my
suffering.
pockets. No, but that's probably
So,
where
yes.
we should look. That's where everything's happening.
Yeah, so the pond is in the same district as the tower and the market and everything
Yeah.
else. It's all right in the same circle, in
nearby.
the same park.
So maybe
yeah.
we go to like the northeast corner of the pond. That way we have like a view of the clock tower.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you'd be standing probably within 30 feet each direction of the pond and the clock tower and the pop-ups, and probably about 150 to 200 feet from Bernard's Inn at that point.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's head
All right.
See
there.
what's going
yeah,
on.
let's go. Let's do
Okay.
that, yeah.
You guys head up. The storm picks up more fiercely. The townspeople begin to flee. They begin to scatter and get indoors. It almost feels like a tornado or some type of natural sort of disaster is about to occur. The wind starts blowing the pop-up tents all around, and the looking pond, bubbling up with sort of this ooze, actually begins to harden over and seal with sort of a kind of crimson-colored rock and stone pattern all over the top of it, layered, kind of filling it in places. You see the kind of the trees, the maple trees and the apple orchard beginning to uproot and come up upended in the fields in the northeast, and the tower itself has a kind of a streak of green lightning that pierces the front of it, and you actually see the two doors of the clock tower in the front open.
Well, that's
Out comes my bow again.
Yeah, that's ominous. I'm gonna ready my.
Go
my,
get them, boys!
Yeah. Yeah.
Dee-dee-dee.
Gonna get in the combat stance.
All right, you guys gear up to potentially enter the clock tower. With that, we're gonna go ahead and take a couple minute break. We will see you all with more Clock Strike Zero in just a few minutes. All right, everybody, and we are back with you with Clock Strike Zero. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching us this evening. Thanks for all the subscriptions and the follows and all the good noise you guys have been making over in the chat there. It's been a lot of fun to watch that. This is the penultimate episode. We finished this series up on Sunday the 26th from 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So please come on back for the finale. You can watch all of the past episodes now available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MinorRealmGames, I believe. Just do a quick keyword search and you'll find us over there. Our link's actually down below for Twitter to follow all updates regarding Minor Realm and our Patreon as well. Thanks and big shout outs to all the Patreon subscribers. I saw a couple of you guys pop up in the chat earlier for early announcements. So awesome to see you guys back and watching us game. So when we last left off before the commercial break, our adventurers are healing up their new ally, Mr. Gorgel, aka King Erlin, the gnome sorcerer king, who sustained a pretty nasty wound and some poison from the wasp sting from our last session outside of this ominous mystical clock tower that seemed to just manifest and materialize these wasps, starting attacking the townspeople. You guys fended them off. Dispatch these spiritual giant wasps, but you had to put together a bit of an ointment to prepare and sustain Gorgel's life, lift the poison condition from him. He's now staying with a friend, Ellie Smithton, the mother of the boy Lawrence, who you rescued from the church in our very first episode of Clock Strike Zero. You guys head back to the Clock Court in the northern district of town. You find that the the gazing pond has now turned to stone. It was kind of bubbling up with this thick, kind of slimy, oozy, lava-like material. And when you guys arrived again in the north of town, it now just patched itself up with this shiny, sort of crimsony, kind of glass-like stonework over top of it. A lot of the townspeople have fled the scene. They're getting indoors. The pop-up tents and the stands are just blowing everywhere from almost like a tornadic kind of storm that's picking up. Trees are just uprooting and blowing off in the distance. The maple trees and the paradise apple trees are sort of just blowing all about, and green and blue lightning is just kind of striking the top of this clock tower. When you guys arrive and you draw your weapons, you stand together as the party that you are, brave and valiant in your efforts. The doors of the clock towers actually swing open as if to invite you inside.
Well, Cal, what do you think? Gonna give it another go? See what's up there?
Yeah, I suppose. There's really nowhere else to look.
Is there anything less obvious than just walking in the front door?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have done this before, right? This is not your first rodeo with the clock tower, not even just in this day. As you looked around the other sides, there were certainly less obvious entrances, but none that were particularly easy to get into.
I could climb through the window again, but it feels kind of silly.
Well, it might be reckless, but I think it's time to find out what's up there.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I mean, just as a moment of caution, we're probably in worse. I just was poisoned no less than like an hour ago, and the idea of getting poisoned again without a good rest is. I'm tired.
Well,
and I expect that we're all tired.
Now,
Do we want to tempt fate like this?
Now we know how to make cure poison unguents.
Yeah, and I also don't see any wasps, so we may not be dealing with poison.
That's fair, but last time you got ejected from that tower, and I'm not sure if we have any defense against that, unless you guys want to fly.
Last time the tower wasn't inviting
doors
us
imply
in.
that we are to go in.
Maybe it's hot. Maybe it ate the silhouettes, and now it's hungry, having realized that it only ate shadows.
Fair. Well, I'm going to stay behind. I guys, I'm going to go in with you, but I'm going to man the rear.
Okay. All right.
And Ragnar, I know you are.
Yeah, I'll lead the charge.
No. All right. Lundy and Cal, you take up the center. You enter.
Bow at the ready.
Upon the entrance into the clock tower, Cal, you notice it looks incredibly different in here now. And by that I mean it's much more tidy and organized. A lot of the stands and the shelves and the woodwork have repaired themselves and have been stood back upright. The stonework intact and in fact has a shimmer and a polish. There is magnificent and extravagant decor and different artifact around. Particularly in this first floor, as the doors begin to slowly close behind you and a gust of wind channels up through the center of the interior architecture, you notice a ring of golden mirrors kind of placed all about on the first floor. When you look upward, even the climb in the clock tower looks different than it did before, almost as if you have been taken back through time to a different place in history. It looks as if there are distinct floors with stone stairs that go to each layer up its 250 plus foot climb. But on this first, an open foyer, inviting visitors inside, but a very mysterious placement and arrangement of these golden mirrors forming a circle of some kind in the center of this open space that's probably, let's call it about 50 feet deep, probably 85 to 95 feet wide.
Yeah, so Cal's just sort of dumbstruck, just sort of staring around. He goes up to the edge of the stairs and tentatively like pokes them with his feet to see if they're still.
Yeah, they're much different than the stairs that you were trying to traverse earlier. These are stone, sturdy, rock-like stairs, not at all like the creaky wooden stairs that broke beneath your feet.
Is somebody here to like greet us?
It's quiet, and just a howl of wind that sounds back up, and you can hear the bells just barely swaying way up high.
Well, that's rude. I expect there to be like a doormat at least.
Well, this room is completely different.
Yeah,
It didn't look anything like this before.
I think we're going to be walking into a world of shit, but we're not going to find out anything unless we go up there.
I'm going to take a closer look at the mirrors to see, are there inscriptions or are there, are they reflecting each other?
They are pointed all at each other. They are reflecting each other, yes. There's these sort of golden ornate, sort of floral-like pattern perimeter on them. They're probably about 2 to 3 feet high, probably a foot and a half or so in diameter. They're rather small, but they're up on these kind of golden stands as well.
Is there anything in dead center, like the where the points, where they're all pointed? I guess the central point.
Yeah, absolutely. When you investigate them further, Cal, you see that there are different sort of shadows moving about each of the mirrors. It's almost as if something's walking out in the distance of them. Kind of footsteps moving around. It's just a silhouette of a figure. He looks humanoid. Looks to have 2 arms, 2 legs, rather tall, probably about 6.5 feet or so tall. And it looks like it's moving kind of back and forth through a couple of the mirrors, but so quick that all you catch is this kind of dark, very vague, brownish kind of gray type of just flash in front of it.
I take my dagger and just sort of gently tap one of the mirrors to see if it's a solid surface or if there's.
Do you tap like the back of the mirror or tap the glass?
Yeah, where I'm seeing the silhouette, like the glass.
Yeah. So you kind of take your dagger as it passes through, and it does kind of touch against what feels like glass. You feel that kind of sharp dink, like as you poke it. But when you do that, from the opposite side, the 2 other mirrors kind of away from you, you see the flash kind of more abruptly go through there. And you guys notice this. Cal's kind of investigating it more closely, but you guys do notice a figure walking around, kind of it looks like, in the mirrors that you can't see in the center sort of the circle, but definitely being reflected very rapidly through the reflections.
Are the mirrors curved at all? I mean, is there like a focus in the middle? Like, I think that's what Lundy was referring to. Is it like they're all
the
pointing?
focal point.
Yeah, is there a focal point?
So the mirrors are tilted slightly up and almost virtually flat, almost like you would hang them on a wall or put them in a corner of a room, like a standing mirror.
Gotcha. So the focus point would be above us.
Ever so slightly, yeah. It looks like it would be reflecting up towards something that was perhaps up at a 6.5 to 7.5 foot height.
I'd like.
Okay, sorry,
No,
Bears.
go ahead, Rick.
No,
I mean,
after you.
I'd like to actually take, like, I'm gonna try to estimate where the focal point is. I'm gonna take my amulet and try to put it there, and I'm gonna make a prayer to a deity, just for wisdom and just for sight, perhaps. See if anything happens.
Yeah. When you start praying, and as you point it up toward that focal point, you feel a kind of a grip on you. Give me a spell saving throw.
Right, and these ways you have to beat. Is that
Beats,
right?
Correct.
With a D20.
Yes.
Ooh, just 15, so I just barely beat it.
Yeah, you feel a grip on your wrist. You pull back, but it does rip your amulet off, and your amulet falls on the ground, kind of slides to the right of your boot. Something just tried to apprehend you for disturbing this circle.
I'm going to put the amulet into my pocket. I'm going to grab it from the ground because I don't want to lose that first and foremost. And I say to the group, that was weird.
Yeah, Ragnar's gonna look in one mirror and try to find out if there's any sort of pattern to the shape, and then if he figures one out, like try to reach behind him and like trip it with his hammer.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and give me a dexterity check. Because you can see this thing moving. It's moving quickly, but it's kind of bouncing off.
I want to roll under, right?
Yes.
My dex.
Yep.
So that's 11. My dex is 16. So.
Yep. So you see this thing bouncing almost from like mirror 1 to mirror 3 to mirror 1 to mirror 5 to mirror 1 to mirror 3, back and forth, and then you finally kind of stick your the edge of your axe under this thing to see if you can trip it, and it does. The mirrors actually fall down. And 2 or 3 of them actually shatter onto the floor, and you feel this big Ragnar hulking sort of heavy body fall into you. You can't see it, but it falls into you, and it almost trips you up as you fall backwards, and then the weight immediately comes off of your chest. It just lifts off of you, and you stand back upright, and you all feel a warm sort of rush of air by you. And then you kind of see dust marks going up the stairs.
Well, we're not alone here, boys.
Did you not see that? Sorry, that's a bad joke. Gentlemen, so shall we? I don't see.
Want to follow it? Are there tracks we can follow?
I'm more interested in meeting whatever that thing was, answers to.
He might be leading us the way there.
Yeah, you want to follow?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna have to go up there eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You start making your way up the stairs, and let's just go ahead and define the marching order.
I'll be first.
All right. Who's next?
I'll go second.
Okay.
I'll.
Do you want to go last, Lundy?
Yeah, as long as I have line of sight with my bow, because
I put my. I'm thinking about putting my shield on my back just in case, but no, that's fine. I'll still have my shield.
It's about a 40-foot climb up a spiral staircase that takes you to the first formal level of the clock tower, with a balustrade around, overlooking sort of the central column. There are some partitioned sort of offices or alcove spaces that are virtually empty, with a larger central platform that's about 20 by 20. And in it, you actually see, and this is specifically for you, Dave, and Matt, actually, but I thought of you this morning when I was like, oh no, I know what's going to be up there. The place is covered in giant centipedes. Roll for initiative.
It's even worse than the spiders.
My initiative rolls are always like the worst.
Zeros and ones. There are 3 of them. Zeros and ones. 2s. All right, Lundy.
Yeah. Pop an arrow into one of them.
Let's give our Twitch viewers what they came for, Matt.
Let's see. If
I don't know. Do they come for him missing, or do they come for him?
I think they usually, yeah.
May not want to give him what they want.
I mean, he technically he does hit. He hits every single time. It seems like just not what he's always aiming for.
Right. 9 times out of 10, it's a wall.
Exactly right.
Sometimes it's Varus. Ow! Damn
One
it.
time I think it was Ragnar too.
Yeah.
Right?
I think he did hit me in the butt.
All right, that's okay. That's that'll hit a -1.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
There we go.
Way to spend that on a centipede. Roll for damage.
Well, I mean that's the only thing I see, right?
That's true. That's true. I'm just saying that we're not going to get lucky twice in this session.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, that's ooh, what does that say? Excuse me. That's 5 total.
I mean, I immediately I clang my my mace against my shield just out of shock and surprise and.
Yeah. You clang your mace against your shield like a hockey fight when everybody bangs their sticks off the boards.
Exactly.
I'll actually, once I see the arrow connect, Lundy will actually say, "It's our lucky day, boys."
The centipede rolls up with all of its legs and it curls into a ball. Dave, that description's also for you. And there are 2 of them left. They are crawling towards you. Where are my 3s and 4s? All right.
3.
Cal.
Well, I'll try to hit it with my sling.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, that hits something like an armor class.
Double digit.
13.
Okay, yeah, no, that will not do it. Unfortunately, the bullet just kind of bounces off one of the back walls of the platform as the centipede continues to rush in. Force 5s, 6s. All right, centipede's on 6, and it will approach. Who was second in the marching order? Was that you, Lundy? Or Callum, excuse me. That was you, Cal. Okay, that's what I thought. Alrighty then. And that will do 1 damage. 1 damage as it just kind of grips you up with a couple of its legs and just kind of pulls on your arm a little bit. It is considerably larger than you, Cal.
It somehow does 2 psychic damage to Dave.
Yeah, not
Not even
Ragnar,
Ragnar,
Dave.
Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave takes the psychic damage. The other living centipede moves in about 15 feet, but it can't get close enough to you guys to make an attack. So we were at 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s. All right, so we'll go with Varus and then Ragnar.
So I'm gonna go up to the one that just attacked Cal, and I'm going to try to smash it with my mace.
Okay.
Ooh, no, that was not a good roll. That would hit a double digit, so no.
Got it.
16.
Got it. Yeah, that's not going to do it. And you move over to it. It kind of wriggles itself around a little bit and kind of tries to wrap around the other side of Cal. It's a lot faster than you might have anticipated when you go over to strike it. And then Ragnar.
That would be it would hit in the negative. So
Okay. Okay. Good.
Not 18. So
Let's kill the shit out of this centipede.
are they small?
They are giant.
They are giant.
Yes.
Okay. That will be 7 damage.
Yeah, you bring retribution down onto this giant centipede and just go right halving this thing through it down to the stone floor to the point where with such ferocity and approach and follow through that the axe actually sticks into the stone a little bit, into the stonework, down through it, and you kind of pull it back over your head in triumph as the thing just kind of curls up into 2.
Gross.
Yeah, super gross. Let's roll for initiative.
Yeah, all I'm thinking about is the plume of centipede ichor cast off whenever he swings his axe back, splattering over who's standing next to it.
Centipede Castoff is the name of my new metal band. Ones and twos, threes and fours.
3.
Oh wow!
Three.
Look at you guys, Bash Brothers again. So Varys.
Ragnar go first this time?
Oh,
Since I mean he's not on a roll, so like, I don't want to get in his way.
go ahead, Ragnar.
There's one left, right?
There's one left.
That will hit a 5.
An armor class 5.
Yeah.
I think that hits. That. It hits.
We'll do 8 damage.
Yep, you destroy this one as well. Kind of, you pick your axe up, just kind of in triumph. The centipede cast off all over the walls and platform, and then you just kind of turn to the other side and come down right on through the other centipede. As you kind of as you look over all the centipede sort of guts and carcasses kind of laying on the floor here, you see about 35 feet beyond another approach to another spiral staircase. There is, however, a shadowy figure that resembles the shadowy figure that you saw in the mirrors downstairs, moving along the wall in a silhouette. It's almost walking. Its shadow is walking, but you do not see it physically.
Can I check to see if there's any concealed doors or anything like that?
Yeah, you have a good look around the kind of edges away from the balcony on the platform near the walls, and then closer to the staircase. It outside of the obviously open kind of alcoves and little office spaces, you only find one small kind of, it's only about 3.5 feet high areas that looks like it could be moved or could be tampered with to open up something on the other side of it. You would need a little bit of help from your friends, though. It doesn't look like there's any obvious mechanism or trigger.
So Bill, meanwhile, Lundy's retrieving his arrow from the centipede and putting his foot on it and pulling the arrow out, and he just sort of says to no one in particular, these things supposedly eat other bugs.
That's great. You won't find any spiders here.
All right, go ahead, Mike. Or sorry, Varys.
I'm not sure if I have a good follow to that, to be honest with you. No, I just say like, what is this? And I just kind of point to this, and I kind of grab people, and I just shoot Lundy a look.
We just lost 10 viewers. No, that's great. You kind of, you stumble upon this little peculiar area in the wall in the stonework. You shoot Lundy a look, and Ragnar, do you kind of notice Varys over against the wall inspecting something, kind of crouched down a little bit?
Yeah, I'll head over. What you looking at, man?
It's just like this space right here. It just seems off to me.
It looks like through the stonework there, Ragnar, that this is clearly like a trapdoor of some kind. It is an access point for something.
Let me make a what is that? Detect stoneworks trap check, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so under 50. I rolled a 46, so just under.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like with a little bit of coaxing, you might just be able to kick this thing right on down. This is a false door.
Yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll try to uncover it.
Okay. Yeah, you give it a good boot. A little bit of a loud collapse. Stone just kind of crumbles and falls apart, almost like plaster. And on the opposite side of it, there's a little like crawl space in there, and you find something really interesting. A little wooden toy, little elf soldier.
Oh, hey. Little
and a little and a little blue blanket.
If I, as soon as I see that, I immediately say that could be Seamus Lannister's favorite toy. Then. Or Davister, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I thought you were making a joke.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I thought you were gonna get a suit. Is what I thought. So
I just knew it rhymed with sinister, so.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like grab the items, pause, and I bring them to Lundy. I say, perhaps you should hold on to these in case he.
Yeah, I'll pack them away. I'll shake my head and say, I hope I don't have to hand this wizard his binky.
Does the toy just seem like a toy, or do we feel any weirdness emanating from it?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. There's definitely a lot of weirdness in this this place.
In general.
It's really creepy in here, and the fact that you found the boy's toy in this little crawl space, this little hidey hole, is creepy enough. When you do look up, when you grab the toy and you bring it over to Lundy, you look up. That shadow, by the way, that's been walking along the wall is gone.
Oh, interesting. Did anybody see where he went?
Cal, you last had eyes on him. It looks like he vanished near the stairwell.
I'm guessing he went up.
Oh, well, shall we? I mean,
Well,
I mean,
we can
I
either
guess.
continue with the direct approach, or I can start disassembling this toy and see what happens.
I'm gonna
You know,
break this child's toy.
angering a sorcerer by destroying his childhood toy, not necessarily the best idea, I think.
Well, anyway, I'm not just going to be carrying the toy like in broad daylight. I'm going to have it kind of tucked away.
You can stow it in your pack. Yeah, I just pictured you like, I don't
But
know how
you
to put
do-
this back together and just handing it.
But you
Then
do
you use
put
it
the
like
blanket on like a little cape.
Yeah,
I thought he was
over
gonna use
your
it like a
cape.
torero.
Sorry,
you know,
man.
cape,
There's
you
the
know.
Barbie head on your doll now.
Lundy uses the blanket and begins to set up a picnic. All right, yeah, you stow the toy away in your pack. And as well as like the blanket, you kind of fold that up and make a little square out of it and just tuck that into your bag as well. The centipedes were kind of a weird touch. The room here is definitely creepy. It's kind of got this ooze and goo around it now from all of the insects that you've slain. That hidey hole was pretty strange in and of itself. It looks like it was used at one time and maybe patched over carelessly or perhaps even by magical means. But yeah, major takeaways here is that it's each floor up gets a little more strange. And there's something certainly here watching you.
Shall we continue?
Yeah, let's keep going up, I think.
As you go up the next 40 feet or so in the spiral stairs, Ragnar, give me another check for stonework there. And Cal, give me a wisdom check for Cal.
Dude, that's a 79.
Okay.
That's a 610. So yeah, that's
Yeah, Ragnar, you can't quite put your finger on it, but there's something now strange, probably 25, 35 feet up into the 40 or so foot climb in the spiral stone staircase to the second formal level of the clock tower. The coloration has been changing, the size, the texture. You can't quite put your finger on it, though. Cal, you more astutely kind of point out the fact that the actual the hallway here and the climb is actually narrowing ever so slightly. The stairs themselves are getting less shallow in depth, and that in fact, there is a strange color to them altogether. No longer a brownish sort of gray, but now a red kind of color, almost looking exactly like what's sealed over the top of the gazing pond in Clock Court.
does it seem equally stable?
It is strange to you. It's almost like a foreign kind of substance. When you're walking on it, it gets gradually slicker, more slippery to the boot, and it almost feels like you're walking on kind of like plastic or plexiglass in a way that's kind of has a little bit of give and spring to it, and it kind of, you hear a little bit of crackling and rustling when you step each kind of trot up to the top of the stairwell. The platform up here has 3 doors along the side opposite of the balustrade, spiraling up to another staircase. It is completely covered with this dry, sort of sticky, kind of red, kind of crystalline material that I've been describing. The doors presumably go off to these office-like compartments where other businesses or archives were in the past. They each have a brown, locked, kind of sturdy wooden door on them, barred. You do see a shadow against the wall where the third and furthest door is near the stairwell, resembling that which you noticed earlier downstairs.
I'm gonna go inspect that third door.
When you go and inspect that third door, you feel like something is standing like right over you, looking down on you as you inspect it. Are you going to attempt to open the door, or are you going to examine the lock more closely?
Yeah, I'm going to examine the lock and the frame and just sort of. I'm going to check for traps, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like this has been in any way mechanically trapped, but the door itself strikes you as odd. This certainly wasn't here the last time you were here, at least not to your recollection. This climb feels almost completely different than the one that you'd experienced last time you were here. You're not sure if traditional, conventional lockpicking methods would even get this door open, because you're not convinced entirely that it might be even real. But
is the shadow still visible?
The shadow's gone, but you feel something standing over you. You feel a presence looming, just hanging, hovering over you.
Yeah, I'm just since I'm feeling a little unnerved by that, I'm gonna throw an elbow behind me and see if that makes contact with anything.
Roll for initiative.
Some WWE stuff right there.
When you throw an elbow, Cal, it feels like it lands into like a boulder. It actually hurts. It stings up your arm. It feels as if you just slammed your elbow into a brick wall, and you feel you get lifted up off the ground by your neck, and you get tossed onto this wall by something that seems to have a grip on you. You guys just see Cal, with nothing in front of him, get lifted up, choked, and slammed against this wall. Where are my 1s and 2s?
I'm a 1.
All right, great. Cal, what do? You are grappled at this point. You desperately are trying to get away, and it feels like you can't breathe.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be like scrabbling for my dagger and gonna try and just stab at whatever is holding me.
Okay, go ahead and give me a attack roll. I'll say you just slip that out of your boot pocket. You just shink, and you got it.
Okay. That'll hit armor class 3.
An armor class 3. That will do it. You stab through something, and you kind of come up through what perhaps is its arm. And you see immediately, as the rest of you then observe from a bit of a distance as you're coming into the initiative, you see this tall, hulking, broad-shouldered, gray humanoid figure with these big, muscular, long arms and no face, with a long sort of swoop to the back of its skull where boils and spikes are. It probably is at least 300 to 400 pounds, nearly 6'7" or so. And now you have a dagger sticking up through its arm. Roll for damage.
Is it large?
It is not large. It is technically medium.
That's 3 damage.
3 damage on it. All right. Yeah, you guys see all of this go down in a matter of just a couple seconds. Cal, one second is inspecting this door, and the next he's just lifted up, slammed against this wall. He slyly pulls his dagger, stabs up, and reveals this creature that's been following you and or luring you, whichever way you choose to look at it. 2s and 3s. All right.
3.
All right, which of you want to go first?
Buddies!
Buddy!
We can switch off because they're
Yeah. I go high, you go low. I don't know.
yeah, sure. Although I can't get very high. My high is low.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. That's why I figured. Yeah. So, quick question, actually, just a DM question. For the damage, there's like 2 options. I forget which one's which. For size.
Medium and large. Medium first,
large.
large second.
And he's medium.
He's
is that right?
he's medium. Yeah, he's just
Okay,
a really big dude. I mean, he's just a really
Yeah.
big dude. Yeah.
I'm gonna basically, I'm just gonna try to go like, try to club him in the head. I mean, how tall is he?
About 6'7".
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to club him in the back of the head with the mace
Okay.
while his back is turned, because I think he's like facing Cal, and
Yep.
so, don't think that's gonna hit though. In fact, I know it's not.
If you're coming up to the back, he has to defend against a rear armor class. So
Oh, that's true.
So
Yeah, so AC 10.
yeah,
is what it would
that'll
be.
hit. That'll hit.
Okay, awesome.
Roll for damage.
Yeah, roll for damage. This is the first time I think I've rolled for damage in a while. So 1d6 plus 1, so 3 damage.
Gotcha. Cool. Excellent use of your turn, Ragnar.
I'm gonna go for like just above his knees, like at where your butt meets your thigh, kind of right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled. It'll hit a -1.
Yeah, that hits.
So this will be 6 damage.
Gotcha.
Just butt damage?
6 ass damage.
Yeah. Not acid.
Yeah,
Ass.
ass damage. Yes, got it. Jotting that down. Yeah, you go ahead and you just come in with retribution. You swing on it as well. 4s and 5s.
I feel like that's gonna break his tailbone. He's not gonna be able to sit for days.
6s and 7s. 8. All right, this thing goes on 8. Ragnar, as you kind of swing in for giving him the butt damage there, he has this big, just almost like pillar, like muscular leg with these giant kind of like 4 toes. These big toes. It's probably like a size 16 or 17 boot this thing would wear. This bare foot, and it just lifts its leg and it kicks you, just kind of right to the gut. Oh, and that'll hit. That's going to be good for 4 damage, and it pushes you back 5 feet.
All right.
Cal, it is going to, with the dagger still in its arm, it kind of just, it turns and looks with its faceless, just sort of gray smear where its face would be, and it just kind of turns and looks at the dagger with its kind of grip still on you, and it releases you down to the ground and just pulls the dagger out from its arm and chucks it over the balustrade behind you. So just kind of, bye dagger. 9.
That would be me.
All right, Lundy.
Guess I'll pop off an arrow at this thing. Okay. That would be. Where is it? That would hit an AC 3.
An AC 3. Yep, that'll hit.
All right. Well, see what we can do here.
Lundy's 2 for 2 so far.
I am just as blown away as you are, Mike. I don't want to jinx him.
6 damage.
6 damage. Yeah, you shoot an arrow, kind of lands right in this thing's pectoral, right in its side, almost through its rib cage. And it kind of just sticks in there for a second. The tail of the arrow just wobbles, and it kind of slowly again kind of turns and looks down at the arrow, and then it looks at you, Lundy, off to its left. Roll for initiative. Ones and 2s.
2.
Lundy, all right.
Another arrow.
He'll say,
if I can.
can we go 3 for 3?
We probably cannot. That would be AC 4.
Yeah, that just misses. Zings past Ragnar and Varus over to the stairwell into the dark kind of corners and shadows over there. You were on 2, right, Lundy?
Yeah.
Yeah. This thing kind of turns its head kind of almost completely with its neck kind of almost elongating and becoming kind of a rubbery texture. You see it moving very unnaturally. Its spines on its back begin to shift a little bit, and its muscles begin to kind of ripple, and it just disappears out from Ragnar, Varys, and Cal, and Lundy. It appears right in front of you immediately, and it kind of swings with a punch right directly to your face, and that is a crit.
Oh,
That's going to be good for 10 damage. 10 damage. Yeah, it just kind of swings and punch. You see it just kind of appear and punch Lundy in the chest, sends him back 10 feet. Almost knocking him back and breaking his his bow completely, excuse me. 4s. And that's Cal. All right.
So is there anything else on this landing other than these doors?
The doors and the stairwell and the banister.
Okay. And now, so I am back against the door and against that wall.
Third door closest to the stairwell. Yep.
And everybody else is...
Ragnar and Varys are immediately around you within 5 to 10 feet. Lundy is approximately 25 to 30 feet back toward the stairwell descending that you came from a distance.
Okay,
near the first door.
So the creature has its back to me.
Correct.
Okay.
And I know what you're getting after.
Yeah.
Would you say that the creature's back could be stabbed?
Non-lethally?
Stabbed with a slingshot. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and hit him with my sling.
Oh, okay. You're gonna hit him with the sling. All right, cool.
Yeah, I don't have a dagger anymore.
That's right. That's right. You don't have a dagger anymore. He tossed that off. He kind of looked at it and went, meh, and just threw it. All right.
Okay. That would hit an AC 1.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Roll for damage.
Okay. That's so it's doubled, right?
Yes.
That's 8 damage.
Okay. And you see the kind of bullet hit this thing dead, kind of where its spine would be. Its shoulders kind of shiver a little bit and stutter. And it kind of just turns its head up to the side, and it just kind of its neck keeps getting longer, and you see its arms even get a little longer as you hit it. It's not a good time right now. You can't really tell if it's absorbing or if it's actually it's hurting from any of the damage that you are taking. You just can't tell, or you're delivering. It does not bleed. It's not bleeding. So that would be 5s now. 5s. 6s. Okay, Ragnar.
All right, so he's gonna do some more ass damage.
He's gonna go ahead and take it back to the Ashen.
Through 2, AC 2.
Yeah, 2 hits. You're gonna hit him from the behind, yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
For 7.
Yeah, so that's a load of damage there. You kind of cut in, swing right to like the back above, like kind of the waist and kind of the butt area on this thing. It doesn't really have like a defined like glutes or anything. It just kind of has like this like kind of roundish kind of just thing, kind of one round kind of hump where its butt would be. You kind of swing into that and by the waistline there. You cut into it, and there's like this kind of gray. Just sort of like putty-like matter that comes off of it, but it doesn't bleed as you like kind of perforate and penetrate through its thick, sort of leathery, textured kind of skin or exoskeleton that it has on it. That'd be 6s and 7s. All right, Varys.
7. I look over at Lundy. How you doing over there, Lundy? Just took a load of damage.
Oh, I flinched.
You flinched? I mean, are you all right? Are you like?
No, his head is spinning.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to cast Cure Light Wounds on Lundy.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that means I actually have to go up to him and touch him.
That's correct.
So...
You do have to be.
I mean, I'm not critical, but
okay. Oh, you're not critical because, like you said,
that was roughly like about a third of
Oh, okay.
health.
So you were being figurative when you said that your head was spinning. So.
Well, I'm sure it was. I'm sure my head would be literally spinning a little.
Yeah, his clock cleaned a little.
right. Well, I mean, if you're actually not gonna, I thought you were. I
No,
wasn't sure
I'm not
from
on.
last
I'm
one.
not on death's door. So
Okay.
save
In
it.
that case, I'm going to attack then, based on that.
Okay.
I'm just gonna basically do the same thing I did before, where I try to what I'd like to do is sort of like, as he moves around, I want to get directly behind him, so that way he never really knows where I am, if possible.
Okay. Okay.
Is that something I could do?
Yeah, you can certainly try. It seems like this thing's
Yeah.
head can spin in abnormal, inhuman ways, but you can get as dead
And I
center as
basically
you
want to
can.
keep on hitting him in the head in the opposite direction he turns it.
Got
so,
it. Got it.
So go ahead and attack that. That should hit. That was a natural 16, which should hit a 2.
Yeah, that hits.
All right, and that would be 6 damage.
6 damage. Yeah, this thing has been getting beat up pretty good from you guys, but you can't really tell where it's at as far as its stamina or health would be concerned. But you continue to fight on. 8s, 9s, and 10s. Okay, on the 10th segment, the floor beneath you guys, that kind of red crimson kind of material, does begin to shatter and crack and splinter up throughout parts of the floor near the doors, the stairwells, and under your feet. You feel like you are on relatively unstable ground. To your earlier point, Cal, yeah, this stuff looks to not be as sturdy as the stonework in which you were on earlier. Roll for initiative. Ones. All right, Ragnar, go ahead.
He's just gonna go again.
All right.
No. Well, we'll just see.
No. That sounded like me.
Yeah, I was going to say
No.
that's a Matt roll for sure. No.
No.
I won't waste anybody's
It's
time.
rear AC.
It is rear AC, so.
It would be an AC 8.
Yep, that'll hit.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Yeah, it's very vulnerable in the rear. Varys hit a 10 earlier. Yeah, knock it off.
Six.
As far as the chat just blows up.
I am a child, I know.
No, it's great. I love it.
6 damage.
6 damage. We've been playing together long enough. I mean, I get it. This group can't be tamed. So 6 damage. This one you feel like phases a little bit because it flinches. It sort of shakes a little bit as it takes the axe and almost kind of you see it's kind of spines on its back shake a little bit, and its head kind of does turn and try to look. You almost feel like it can sense around it though, because it is also in one, and it picks up its leg to kind of kick back at you, Ragnar. One of its two sort of attempts at you does make contact. It hits, and that is good for 8 damage. 8 damage.
It's a big hit.
That's a big hit. 2s.
2.
Right. Cal.
So the next stairwell, is it made of the same?
It is.
Crack.
It is stone. It is back to stone.
Yeah. So I'm gonna run up onto it,
Mm-hmm.
and then shoot him with my sling.
Okay.
But I also call out to everybody like, "You might want to come up here."
Safer ground. Yep. Got it.
That'll hit a 2.
Yeah, that hits. Roll for damage.
That's another 8.
Another 8 points of damage. This thing is just a big bag of hit points. You do make direct contact with it. It's actually, you see your bullet stick into this thing directly kind of on the nape of where its neck is and the long kind of back of its head draped down. And direct contact, and it just kind of shakes. And you see the spines almost like quills shake on the back of it, vibrating. To your point, Cal, yeah, the floor does continue to crack beneath all of your feet. You don't have very long left on the ground here. That's going to be 3s and 4s.
4 here.
Okay.
I don't remember in 1E if the mechanics with moving combined with attacking, if you can do them in either order.
So are you trying to?
Well, am I still engaged for one thing? Like
No.
Like in terms of proximity.
No, no, it actually knocked the shit out of you. It pushed you back over 10
Yeah.
feet.
All right, so I'm gonna I want to. I'm going to shoot another arrow, but I'm going to, in whatever order it needs to happen, also get to the stairs.
So you're gonna back up, shoot, and then try to run past it to get to the stairs.
It's in between? Okay.
Correct. Yeah, you guys are now closest to the stairwell that you came from. Cal's on the opposite side, on safe ground, stable stone ground, on the next stairwell that goes up.
I'm going to circle around and just get to the upper stairs as expediently as possible. If there happens to be time to pivot and take another shot, then I'll do it. But
Okay.
The stairs are the priority.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead and just tuck the bow down and just make haste and get past this thing out of its grip, its grasp. It can't reach you from the point where you're at closest to the balustrade. You duck down. With each footstep, you feel the ground cracking more and more severely beneath your boots, and it creates that spider effect of kind of cracking all across the ground beneath Ragnar Varus and this creature. 6s, 7s?
Round 5.
Oh, 5. Varus, go ahead.
So where is Ragnar in relation to these stairs?
You guys, Varus, Ragnar, and this creature, you guys are closest to the stairwell that you guys came up, near the first door, on top of this red sort of plasticky kind of material. You guys are about 25 feet from the stairwell that Lundy is now full charging toward, and Cal has arrived on, closest to that third door where the thing first attacked Cal.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm going to try to make it toward the stairwell that Lundy and Cal are at. If I can, I'd also like to grab Ragnar with me, if possible. It may not be, but Ragnar has a plan.
So you
Oh,
are,
you're on mute. Sorry.
It'd just be an attack of opportunity, I think.
well, so you are running.
You got kicked away pretty far, didn't you? Because you got kicked away.
Ragnar got kicked about
that's true.
5 feet. Varus, you're still right up on this thing, so you would be running at this point from it. You'd be fleeing. So
Yeah. I wanted to take the disengage action if that's possible.
so there isn't like a disengage
Okay.
sort of thing. You're fleeing.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna bolt it and basically get into a foot race and hope this thing doesn't chase you.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yep. You do it. You start bolting. Again, with each step, you feel the ground more and more unsettling beneath you, and actually a big old hole cracks. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. Where your right foot just clomps right on through. This thing looks...
This I want to be over or under?
This one you want to be under.
Under? Okay, good. Because I rolled under. I rolled a 9.
Got it. Yep. So you jump, slam your boot down through a hole, leap out of it, and just kind of keep running with a piece of this kind of this sticky material stuck to your leg and your boot. You make haste. This thing tries to go after you for a second, realizes the floor is cracking, and then turns its attention toward Ragnar. 7s and 8s. 9s, 10s.
I think that's everyone.
That would have been everyone.
Yep.
Okay. Ragnar, you and this thing are going to be on one together. You can
Okay.
go first.
So is there like a wall near like the ledge, like going up to where I need to get a good picture of like the stairs just go up and the floor is cracking underneath me, right?
So the floor is cracking on this kind of level platform with the 3 doors opposite of you and this banister, this balustrade behind you. Your party is now about 25 feet down this kind of platform to a stairwell that ascends and goes up, where this material no longer covers. It looks like it's natural stonework again beyond it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to hoof it
Okay.
and get over closer to them.
All
But
right.
I'm probably gonna have to jump over that hole, right?
You will have to jump over the hole, but first, this thing is going to attack you from the rear whenever you start fleeing.
Okay.
All right. And it is going to clobber you with 2 slams. And that is going to be a total of 16 damage. 16 damage.
Oh boy.
Just boom, boom. As it does that, you kind of almost fall forward a little bit. I need you to make the dexterity saving throw as well.
That is a 4.
A 4, okay. And
Made it.
yep, you make it. This thing attempts to chase you. As you look over your shoulder, you see it disappear completely. You get over to the other side. You guys all convene in the stairwell ascending up to the next level together with no sight of this thing behind you.
Well, fuck.
Do you guys want to break it? In case he's
What,
still
the
on
flo-
there?
The floor?
I just take retribution and.
Yeah, no question.
Yep.
Yep, got
I
it.
attacked the floor.
Attack the dark.
You go over with retribution. You kind of take the butt of it first, and then the top of the axe, and yeah, it just cracks and just falls down. And it would have definitely had you guys plunged to your death if it would have broken under your feet. You see it kind of crack into several layers and bounce off the balustrade below it down onto the floor that's now about 80 feet down below. It would have been a very nasty fall if you'd fallen through. So. Yep, you've broken the trailway down. Hopefully you figure out a different way to get back, having broken that. And you have one door that is still accessible to you, having broken the pathway, the furthest door that Cal originally investigated. And of course you have the stairwell that you are mostly all convened and huddled around at this point. Which of those do you want to explore?
Bill, I'm going to... Lundy is going to just... he's going to prepare, like, he's going to kind of soak a bit of cloth and some oil, and he's going to prepare, like, if he needs to start a fire in a hurry, he's got what he needs.
Okay.
But not to the extent of not being able to deploy a bow, just like making sure that everything's ready.
Cool.
Ragnar is pretty low on HP, yeah.
He coughs and he's like, "I'm fine," but you can definitely tell he's bleeding out of his ears.
Yeah. I'm going to cast Cure Light Wounds actually on Ragnar.
Okay.
So you get... Is it just a 1d? I think it's just a 1d8, right? There's no plus modifier on there. Yeah, there isn't. So you get 6 back.
All right.
Nice. One of those swings where he got clobbered with taken back then. That's good. That's good news.
So there's something not right about that door.
I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean...
You mean beyond what's not right about this entire tower?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Somebody's got a point.
consistent with the tower. I'll put it that way, but it was weird.
To
I'm
make
not sure if it's a real door.
to make it even weirder, you hear a child crying on the other side of the door now.
Come on, Bill. Why?
It sounds like an infant is crying a newborn is crying on the other side of the door.
Had a flashback, Bill, to my dream.
Is there any way to assess whether or not I think it's an illusion?
You could be convinced that it's an illusion, but yeah, not really your field of your area of expertise. But you with your knowledge levels, you would assume that that's a possibility. It's plausible that there is an illusion baby behind this door.
I'm going to take out my amulet from my pocket that is no longer attached to my neck, which is kind of sad. And just kind of pray to it and see if I can get guidance from a deity, if possible.
Okay, yeah, you clutch.
Not sure.
You clutch your amulet. You kind of hold it close to your chest, and
Dear Lord, how do I deal with an infant?
you ask for guidance. You do feel almost a little flame on. You feel a little heat on your body. It almost like as a deity has kind of answered the call, and a kind of aura of kind of gold and red light surrounds you and the party. Everybody gets a temporary +1 to AC.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
I will. That's okay. In that case, I go towards the door.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this whole fertility idea.
Yeah, well,
That would be. It would actually subtract one, right? We would go down.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Temporary, yeah. We'll put that token in play for tonight.
Okay, but yeah, but I actually do want to go up to the door and just try to like inspect it with my newfound power.
Yeah.
Or
You have a little bit of security and confidence and protection over you. The door doesn't actually seem like it's locked at all. The handle just seems like it could merely be turned and opened.
I open it.
Inside, you see what looks like a child's bedroom, and within there, an old gnome that is rocking a baby in its arms and shushing it.
Is that Gorgel?
As it kind of turns towards you, and it looks like Gorgel's face, but the eyes are completely hollowed out and removed, and it turns back toward the infant in the opposite direction and continues to rock and shush it.
This is definitely an illusion.
Are the baby's eyes hollow as well?
You can't really see the child
see.
tucked around in close to the chest of
That'd
Gorgel.
be creepy as shit,
Is,
though.
is there anything else in the room? Yeah, that is like.
I'd say Shauna's has some daddy issues or something.
Well, is there anything else in that room?
It's virtually empty except for a crib, a wooden crib.
Can I? I'm gonna reach inside the crib. I mean, I have a.
You're gonna step in and reach inside the crib. Okay, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, you know, I have faith that this is an illusion. I'm
crib is a
emboldened
mimic.
by a deity and her.
It's a crib mimic.
Damn, why didn't I write that?
Shit. That's gonna go in the official module now. That's gotta be. It was a crib mimic. I could picture everybody in like 6 months when they're playing this thing around their table, like, oh, it was a crib mimic. What the? Should have watched the Twitch. So you reach inside there, and almost, Varys, you have the right sort of inclination here. You reach inside, and everything just sort of disappears, and now it is a dusty, cobweb-filled room. As soon as you go to reach for the crib, everything disappears within it.
So there's nothing in this room whatsoever.
Nothing at all. It's a hollow, empty space where it looks like old stacks of kind of books or storage at one time was kept.
Okay, that's weird. So basically, like, it's just like as soon as I come in contact with the illusion, it just kind of like puffs out of existence.
Exactly.
All right, well, I guess I turn around to the party and I'm like, oops.
Yeah, everybody experiences the same sensation in real time. That visualization just disappears.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything in here, guys. That was a weird.
Lundy,
I think my
Lundy's
dad's playing
just,
Lundy though.
Lundy's just like, whew, you don't have to deal with a baby.
I think you're onto something though, Lundy. When it comes to Seamus, I think that, yeah, he definitely is stuck somehow in his childhood.
Yeah. And with that creepy shit, we'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with you guys in 2 minutes for more Clock Strike Zero action. We'll take you up to the 8 o'clock hour or so. Stay tuned with us. We appreciate you hanging out. All right, everybody. Hope you're rejoining us after that quick break. We are going to finish things out here. We are inside the mysterious, magical, arcanic clock tower in Blackworm. Our party has had a couple of strange things happen to them as they've been invited almost inside by some mystical entity of sorts. Storms are brewing outside. Ponds are freezing, glazing over in stone and magma. The streets are now filled with blood and devastation. It almost is like an apocalypse of sorts here. Something has triggered events to disturb whomever is at the top of this clock tower. Suspected as such would be Shaunus Davister, a boy that's disappeared several years ago from a founder's mansion under the care of your ally, our party's ally, Mr. Gorgel, aka King Erlin, Sorcerer King of the Northern Nexus. And you just witnessed a pretty strange illusion, almost mimicking perhaps a memory or an experience in which an old gnome was rocking a child in its arms in this creepy room in the second tier of this clock tower. After which you've encountered this really strong, foreign, perhaps demonic, alien-like creature that seems to be able to become invisible, or translucent, or if not even a silhouette attaching itself to a wall freely and at will. You can't tell that you've actually harmed this creature. You probably think it's fair that it's still following or watching you around here. You have what you would assume to be 2 to 3 more levels of clock tower to climb to get to the apex where the bells and the top Bellhaven is. As you stand at the stairwell outside of that scary room.
All this time we haven't seen any indication of that Assassin's Guild, have we?
You have not. You have not. Good question, though.
Well, shall we proceed to the next landing?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
there's nothing much else we could do here.
Ragnar, how you looking?
Not great, but I'll survive. Maybe.
You still have that juice box?
I think I took that during the wasps.
During the wasps.
Not the wasps.
I do have, I think I still have a potion of healing, I believe. I'm not sure if I've used that
I've got
yet.
one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna...
Yeah, might be good for... I'm only at 10 hit points, so...
Oh, really? Okay. Well, in
Yeah.
that case, I'm gonna give you the potion and also cast my last Cure Wounds untapped after
To
that.
our viewers out there, if you're watching, we are not playing 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. There are no death saving throws here. This is old school reference, 1st edition AD&D sort of rigidity. So we...
You die, you're dead.
Yeah, you hit 0. You go. Dave takes 11 hit points. He's perma-dead at this point for good old Ragnar. So,
Well, you just got 8 back from my Cure Wounds, Cure Light Wounds.
Okay.
And you can roll 2d4 plus 2 for the potion.
It's 3d8 plus 3.
Not for the one that I have.
It's the ones that we got from the store that were given to us by...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
yeah, go
So is that one?
go with that. Yeah.
The 3d8?
Well, that's the 3d8. Wow.
3d8
Yeah.
plus 3. Yeah.
You should be
I'm pretty decent now.
awesome.
Yeah. You can't sustain another combat like that, though. That goes to say. Yeah.
That was a tough one.
You'll need more help this time around if you should come back in contact with this creature.
Yeah, I don't have any more first level spells left, so. And this one actually question for Osric, can you actually cast spells at a higher level?
You can
No.
you can upcast if the spell details it in the description.
Yeah, I don't think it does though. As far as if it does, it doesn't give any bonuses for it. So
Gotcha.
It does for certain spells.
Yeah,
Okay.
it will tell you. It will specifically tell you if you can upcast.
okay, cool.
So you guys, with a little bit of time to collect yourselves, to investigate that space, and to heal, you decide to ascend to the next tier. When you get up here, there is a larger platform that you didn't necessarily notice from down below, but this actually overhangs and almost has a catwalk across the diameter of the clock tower to the opposite side with a big central platform. Basically 2 bridges, let's call them, each respectively about 25 feet. The central platform representing about 30 feet in depth, probably about 60 feet in width, just sort of suspended up here in the air. You notice more of that red sort of cracked, plasticky looking sticky material covering the center of this of kind of platform that's out suspended on these 2 skywalks of the clock tower here. The wind is kicking up more in here, and there are little pieces of electricity and kind of arcanic energy, green and blue little flickers all around out in the distance. And it looks like the platform actually has different pieces of tile that are moving up and down, kind of in different places, floating and suspending in the air out on the walkways as well as the main platform. It looks like it's sort of shifting off and on in place. What do you guys do?
Watch your step, gentlemen.
Yeah, I kind of arch an eyebrow at Cal, like, okay, strategy here.
I mean, I'm
First of all, put him
I'm
in
the
his
smallest.
put him in his cow sack.
Right. The smallest I can try to scout out a path. I'll be least likely to make it
Or something?
deteriorate on my own.
I mean, Lundy, can you see if you can, I mean, can you track that guy that was the faceless man? Gray
He just
blood?
dis-
I don't think so, but
On the walls or anything, are there any silhouettes or shadows or anything that?
Not behind you, not in the stairwell or on the bit of walls that you have near the balustrade on this side. It is mostly just this big open space with a walkway and the platform on it. So you can't tell from the flooring at all out there that there's any silhouette or sighting of this creature. However, Lundy, if you want to go ahead and roll to track just for
sure.
just for the hell of it, we can go ahead and do that. That's fine.
Where is that? What am I rolling on?
You should have that in your features description. I believe it's like a 45 or something like 65 you have in.
Oh, right.
Yeah. We'll call this one urban, I suppose. It's fine.
All right. That is 64.
Okay. Is that a success?
I'm still looking for it.
Okay.
Okay, here we are. The 60. Yeah, it's below 1 point below. 64 out of
Okay,
65.
so 65. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. You at this point, we'll just say that you are trying to develop a more keen sense of how to track this thing, but you can't necessarily follow it. Yep.
So I propose that I scout out the path and see if I can identify a safer way to go across this. Since I only weigh 35 pounds, so I think it'd be safer.
I think my shield weighs that much.
Yes, that's probably a good idea.
So I'm gonna carefully make my way along the platform and along the catwalk and see like if there's anything differentiating parts of the catwalk that are seem sturdier than other parts.
Yeah, it looks as if when you start going across the catwalk and everybody's just sort of standing on the opposite side of it, like watching you go out. Basically, at this point, I mean, it would be a fault to anyone's death, right? It's about 130 plus feet down. Just so you watch Cal kind of go out here into this opening, and Cal, as you slowly walk, give me a sneak check. See how careful you can truly be on this thing.
Oh, that's I rolled the wrong die. That is a success.
Okay. Cal, you are walking out there as stealthily and cleverly and cautiously as you humanly can, as you halflingly can. And you notice that the tiles that are shifting are mirrors. There are actually glass-like, almost ice-like surface on them, and they are mirrors, and they are reflecting. As you look down in them, you see a shadow passing through, kind of off and on, through several of them, almost the same as you did down below in the assembly of the mirrors in a circle on the main platform in the foyer of the clock tower. What you also see is the rope that you recalled from your last ascension through the clock tower, hanging down from the bells above, as you see sort of the bells in the haven up above at the apex of the tower. As you get about over halfway across that first catwalk, you see that there are about 1/3 tiles that are stone, 1/3 tiles that are covered in this red sort of sticky, plasticky, crystalline material, and 1/3 tiles that are mirrors. What do you do?
So, up until now, what have I just been walking? Has it all been the same surface, or has it been the three types of tiles the whole way?
It's been the three types basically the whole way, and you've kind of stayed away from and avoided the crystalline material. Was very cautious. You were very cautious with the mirrors and tried to stay on the stonework. This array sort of split into even thirds in random sort of placement looks a lot more precarious and potentially deadly than the catwalk did. You're not exactly sure of how to identify a reasonable pattern of sorts in here. You're not entirely sure what the mirrors represent, other than it has something to do with how this creature travels and appears.
So, yeah. I'm gonna pull a pebble out of my pocket and just gently toss it onto one of the mirror tiles and see.
When you toss it out about 10 feet or so, and it bounces off of one of the mirror tiles. You see several of the mirror tiles turn dark, and then the flash vanishes across them. This creature, perhaps, is here. It's just not showing itself.
Okay. So,
I just picture
how far away am I from the party?
I was just gonna say, I just picture the rest of the guys still like over on the other side, all huddled together, like, we really sent Cal out here. You're. You look back; they're now about 40 feet away.
What happened to the pebble after it hit the glass?
It just sort of skipped, and it just landed on one of the stone tiles.
So, I'm gonna try to proceed on the stones.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and start tracing his steps behind him.
Okay.
I will have watched exactly where he was
You're
stepping.
also going on the catwalk, Lundy?
He's going out on the catwalk.
Oh,
Do a little turn while you're there.
I didn't know that. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the load-bearing properties of this thing.
Well, yeah, and you're not entirely sure what those might be, but Cal's actually going out onto the central platform now. You're going out onto the catwalk suspended here. So you paid very close attention, as you mentioned, to where Cal was stepping, and you follow along that pattern. You guys see Lundy head on out. He gets about 15, 20 feet in without fail, and he proceeds behind Cal. Cal is almost kind of dead center on the platform, and Cal, you hear the voice. It sounds in your ears that you'd heard before, and it says, "I thought I told you to leave my house." And you feel a slam. And you guys see out on the central platform this big gray hulking kind of creature materializes and punches Cal. Cal, you take 3 damage, and it kind of just hulks, stands over top of Cal, very intimidating with its height and its size. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna cast Spiritual Hammer, or a Spiritual Weapon, I should say.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna basically throw my, like my spiritual weapon at this thing, because is it on one of these little tiles?
It's out in the center platform out there with Cal, probably
Yeah.
about 50 feet away.
Yeah, my intention basically is to like maybe knock him off. Be kind of nice.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like I
Okay.
doubt I can, but be nice.
Yeah, rolled a hit.
Oh no, I miss. That's a 5. That's a natural 5.
Yeah, natural 5 does not do it. The hammer sort of moves past this thing, and it just kind of almost pulls its chest in. But you see this, Lundy, this roaring fire hammer just kind of comes on past you as you like kind of are blown by its like magical force, holding on to the side of the kind of the catwalk with your hand as you kind of kneel down and then restand. The hammer zinging past you, Cal, and then past this creature. Let's go ahead and roll for initiative.
Boy. This is gonna be fun getting across this.
Ones and
The
twos.
weapon it lasts for four rounds.
Oh yeah, it'll be here for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
4 minutes.
Yeah, for 4 minutes. Yes. Ones and twos.
2 here.
All right, Lundy, I got a 2 on the monster as well. You go first.
I'm still on the catwalk.
Yes, you have about 10 feet of catwalk left.
I'm gonna achieve the platform first, then if I have time, try and shoot an arrow.
You do. Go ahead.
That will hit a 6. I imagine not.
Does not hit. Yeah, it does not hit. Zings past and just takes a curve down into the floors below, into the nothing. So, all right. To the monster. The monster picks up Cal. Cal, give me a strength check.
So I need to roll under. Mm-hmm. That's a 4 under 10.
Cool. Yeah, you are not necessarily grappled, but it is picking you up and attempting to choke you with force. You don't take any damage, but you can tell this thing could probably snap your neck if it wants to. It holds Cal up and it turns its expressionless, flat, gray, amorphous face towards you all and kind of just holds this little ragdoll halfling up, basically showing him to you and kind of extending his arm out. And you could tell this thing could just chuck him off this platform if he wanted to. 3s and 4s. Varys.
So
Coming back in with the hammer.
yeah, basically we do like a little Thor kind of thing where
Yeah.
it's gonna come back to me. I'm gonna try to hit him in the back of. I want to hit that arm. Well, first of all, is Cal hanging like
Oh,
under?
for ass damage.
The ass damage seems to work.
Right. And we also have +1 to AC. So yeah, never mind.
Cal's not hanging over the side yet.
Okay, that's what I was
but
wondering.
yeah, they're about 10 feet. But you could tell this thing could probably honestly chuck him over if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to basically hit his shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
so that way he kind of like just maybe dislodges Cal somehow.
Okay, cool. Let's roll to hit and see what happens. The hammer's behind him now, so I'll go with the rear AC.
I think that hits. That's a natural 16, so that would be with the. Well, the 15. Well, I get a +1 with the spiritual weapon.
Yeah,
I
you have
think.
an 18 THAC0 at this point, right?
Yeah, so he hits this AC2.
AC2, yeah, so that definitely hits. And it works effectively, dislodging kind of the grip. Cal drops back to the floor. Sorry, Cal. But doesn't get thrown over the edge to his peril. The thing takes damage. Go ahead and roll for damage. You can double that total.
I double it too.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I rolled a 6. So it's 6 + 1. So do I don't double it with the modifier, right?
13 damage total.
Yeah, okay.
13 damage total. Yeah, this thing gets the heck knocked out of it from the fire, and the fire just roars up behind it from your mighty hammer. That was awesome. Great job. So that was 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s.
I'm 7.
All right, Cal.
So is this thing engaged with me still?
No, it is not.
Okay. And are there any other features on this platform?
No, it is just different tiles. Some of them cracked red, some of them mirrors, some of them stone.
What are the tiles under the monster?
That you have at least kind of 3 or 4 mirrors where it's currently standing, and one of the center ones is that red kind of cracked material.
Um, so I'm gonna back away from it, like, because I'm still pretty close to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're still within like 5-6 feet of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna try to back out of its reach at least,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna shoot my my sling at the one of the mirrors that he's standing on.
Perfect. Yeah, you kind of slide away a little bit, and you have that sling, and you just kind of chuck it at the mirror that his right foot's on. It shatters, and his left leg actually starts to disappear. It almost dematerializes. Very nice. 8s and 9s.
9.
9 for Ragnar.
I'm gonna try to get across the catwalk, I guess.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a dexterity check just to see how quickly and effectively you can do that, Ragnar, with your big old heavy ass.
Yep. It's a 12 under 16.
12 under 16. So yeah, you do get across pretty effectively. You actually start running across. A couple of the tiles do break under your feet, but you catch yourself on the stone a couple times. You just have this ferocity in you, and you just have retribution ready to go. And your Remlinite on the edge actually begins to glow and crackle. You feel this energy surging through your body. You feel your heritage and ancestry. You feel your father's might in you. You have a temporary +2 to hit.
Oh, fuck.
What do you want to do?
Can I? I mean, I
reach
figured
it.
that was.
You can
Oh,
reach-
I can't.
yeah,
oh,
you can-
okay.
you can reach
I
it.
thought that was. I figured that was gonna be my turn. Cool. Well,
Yep. Basically, slide past Lundy, and you can close.
yeah. So that's gonna be more than a dirty 20.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you come right into this thing's chest.
Rather dirty 20.
Yeah.
For 7 damage.
For 7 damage. Yeah, you just see Ragnar take a leap up on one of the stone tiles and just come in with retribution, his mighty axe with the blue gemstone of Remlinite. This rare mineral, this rare dwarven mineral just begins to illuminate, and he just comes down and hacks right into this thing's chest, knocks it back another step. One of the mirrors under Ragnar's foot, as he stomps, also cracks, and this thing begins to shake. Its spines and quills on its back shiver, and its other leg starts to dematerialize a little bit. And I think that's the end of our initiative, yeah, for this round.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and leave us off here for the evening. I think this is a nice little cliffhanger for our audience, for our cast of players, to be left on hanging here, literally suspending in the balance of a mystical clock tower on this treacherous platform filled with mirrors and this strange kind of gooey crystalline material and precarious stonework. Fighting a creature of the likes of which you have no idea kind of where it stems or originates from. You're not entirely sure how to deal any damage or defeat it, but you are fighting valiantly and bravely as you make your climb up to the clock tower to face who you can only presume at this point to be a dark wizard in the way of Shaunus Davister, who's manipulating illusions and imagery in front of you, has really created quite a haunting dwelling for himself in this old condemned monument. So, thank you all for watching. If you do not follow us and you tuned in to watch this evening and you want to click that follow button, I don't want to do what the guys on like YouTube and whatever it is, smash or whatever they say, like smash that button. Just click it like carefully.
Be very gentle with it, yeah.
Gently click it, and
Nice.
you don't have to smash it. That will probably damage your keyboard or your mouse.
Caress it.
Yeah, exactly.
Make friends with that button.
Yes, exactly. Make acquaintances with that button. If you like what we do, you'll get notifications whenever we go live next time, which will be later this week. I'll be on with you. I think Matt's going to join us later this week, Thursday evening. We're doing a happy hour kind of thing. I have tons of announcements coming up for you guys regarding Gen Con weekend. We have a brand new campaign starting for Gen Con weekend. We have Clock Strike Zero's finale on the 26th, so not next Sunday, but the Sunday following, 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, as these guys have a world of trouble that they're in and a lot to complete in just a few hours.
And if you guys want more D&D, more con action, check out Founders and Legends 3. It's put on by Gary Gygax's son Luke.
Yep.
It's going to be a fun time, so check that out too.
Yes, I will be offline this coming weekend playing and running some games for Founders and Legends 3. So you can head over to tabletop.events if you're interested in some cool action there. Also, they're doing a ton of cool stuff on Twitch. They're doing Founders on the GaryCon Twitch, which is all first edition AD&D action, and then they're doing Legends, which is all the 5e stuff on GaryCon 2 on twitch.tv/GaryCon 2. So if you're into this kind of thing,
Names.
yeah, go check it out. There's some heavy hitters out there. Like I said, we'll have a couple of awesome announcements this Thursday night regarding what we're launching into over Gen Con weekend. Really glad, by the way, that everybody's making this virtual stuff happen. Right, it takes a lot of effort to come around and do this and try to emulate the experience online. We've seemed to find some success. I thought it was maybe lightning in a bottle or a flash in a pan for a few months there, but it looks like this is just what we're doing now. We're going to be convening virtually for the next several months, if not longer. So thank you all for your participation. I hope you enjoy yourselves out there and happy gaming. So for everyone here, these are just a couple of my best friends. Have a great night. Take care.